You can't let yourself get overwhelmed by emotions.
Well, we're going to be looking at the other side, because I'm actually curious what Virtus.pro has to say. And we have Siraction Slacks here with their offlaner DM to give us some inside information about this young and successful team.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, DM. A pleasure to have you. You know, first game at TI main stage, first time on that. What was it like? Did it live up to your expectations?
To be honest, in this series, we expected to play well. We did some draft, especially in third. We had like full chill zone.
Nice.
Like, well, obviously, you're glad when you're winning a good team. Misplays, which led us into ways of playing map we don't want to. Like, unfortunately, it's just I can call it a bit maybe some pressure.
Yeah.
And then game 2 we recovered, and also we did more pleasurable draft for us. But game 3 we did the best draft that is possible. I think, like, couldn't imagine even best.
Yeah.
So it's shout out to our coach. He did an amazing job.
Absolutely. All right, so you guys are inexperienced, but I don't mean that in a negative way. I feel like you look at the game a lot differently than everyone else. Do you think that that's an advantage against very established teams, or is it kind of hard to, you know, keep up with all these different strats?
To be honest, for me, our current play style is really good, because what I see from many games on TI, it's like one guy is farming their part of map, getting some random pickoffs, and then second team is doing the same, and then one team has Tide and the other team has Doom, and they're like, let's play the game at minute 45 in one single team fight, and then it will decide who will get Rosh and do a victory in the game. But I think playing game for getting a team fight at minute 45, where you can always fuck up with buttons, it's kinda not.
Yay.
And Effie, as they will continue to reveal some of the short film contest participants.
Welcome back. We have more short film finalists to show you guys. Effie, are you ready for some magical movies?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. All right, we have Hall of the Hoof. You can follow a poor little courier on a terrifying mission as he tries to survive.
And then you can see the touching story of how Snap met Mortimer in Beatty and Mortimer.
Beautiful. And looks like we have the waiting game. You ever wonder what it's like to get chronoed by Faceless Void?
All the time. And last but not least, you can follow Spiritbreaker through his dark mission in The Last Interpreter.
All right, well, the time has come for movies. Take a look.
like a battle cooking. I'll keep you safe.
Immortality.
It's not time.
Hi.
Now!
Fresh meat.
Did this sun catch your eyes, faceless one?
No.
Unholy cow. I'm every year impressed with what the community comes up with. It is everything. It looks amazing. I can't wait to see how the film contest will continue later on as well. And I'm going to be completely honest with you guys here. I'm supposed to throw to Tsunami, who's going to have a great piece, but I don't know where he is. If only we had vision.
Oh, it's so funny that you say that. Hello, friends. I didn't see you there. You get it? You get it. It's because of the wards. I've been doing a lot of thinking recently. We've got a lot of statistical tools at our disposal here at the International. And I learned this new metric recently. Sentry ward efficiency. Now, I don't know if you've ever even considered measuring this, but I'm sure it's happened in your games where you've been like, dude, I placed like 5 sentries. I don't see it. Are they even warding here? It happens to professional teams as well. Some more often than others. LGD, I want you to take a look at this. On average, it takes them 3 sentries to find an observer. On the other end of the spectrum, we've got Fnatic. It takes them 6.5 sentries on average within like the first 20 minutes of a game to find an observer ward. I'm fascinated by this. What does it mean? What are the implications of this? Well, if you continue to extrapolate from sentry ward efficiency, then you can see that average time of first tower. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what any of this means. I have crunched numbers time and time again on LGD. They just break statistical models. They are so damn good at the game. It's kind of tough to come up with any metric that doesn't make them look the best. And it's not just this TI. This is a storied organization. LGD has been at every single TI besides the first one. And they've got the numbers to prove it. They have played over 136 hours at the International. They have won 141 games at the International. Over 5,000 kills, over 200 Roche kills, over 1.8 million building damage. And this is just a fraction of the numbers that they put on the board. Now we just have to wonder, is this the time that they can finally get the Aegis? I don't know. We'll just have to see it to believe it. Back to you, Shiver.
Thank you. Ow, that looked like it hurt. Thank you very much, Tsunami.
Very smooth.
Very smooth. We got a fresh panel here too. I'm joined by T-Gov. We got ourselves Purge. We got ourselves Kyle, and we got ourselves a little swap on the games. And T-Gov, there's always a little bit of a vibe change when we go from upper to lower bracket, right?
Yo, someone's gonna get eliminated, Shiva. It's kind of hard. It's like you're excited for the Dota, but then you realize that someone's gonna be, removed from the tournament. So you can't be too happy, but you can be happy. It's kind of hard.
I think we can be happy, Kyle, because that means that this Dota is the best for these teams that we're gonna witness. The best that they can play. There's no holding back.
Oh, definitely not. And both teams no strangers to being here, right? They played for elimination before even making it to the tournament, as they both won their regional qualifier 3-2.
Mm-hmm.
TNC was up 2-0 on Fnatic. Spirit was down 2-1 to Empire, and yet they find themselves here.
They find themselves here indeed. Kev, real quick, most excited about what?
I'm just glad it's best of 3s personally, because
Yes.
it is lower bracket, there's elimination, but I think nobody has to be disappointed from like one game.
All right, well, best of 3s. We are lucky to get, and we're lucky to get our teams as well. Let's welcome in Spirit and Fnatic. Team Fnatic is ready to take the stage here at the International 10. And yesterday we saw them survive the best of ones. They are ready to start their proper lower bracket run right now. This is, as an organization, their 8th international. But the last couple of TIs for Team Fnatic as an org were not great. They got eliminated 3 times in a row in those lower brackets. Best of ones. Not now, though. Not this squad. This squad seems to be gelling at the right time. But the same thing can potentially be said for their opponents. Also here for their second lower bracket round here on the main stage, the International 10. Team Spirit is a team of youngsters. We got ourselves 4 first-timers coming on the stage. But you know what? Normally you'd say, okay, you know what, that's gonna be pressure. maybe there is pressure, but it propels Team Spirit to the next level. They have performed under pressure before. We saw them on the main stage of the Animator as well, and they do good with this pressure. They know how to deal with it and how to make them even better. And of course, they have their coach Silent as well to help them out with if the pressure comes a little bit too much, as they do have a lot of experience in their coach for sure. Now, for Team Fnatic, this is a team that is fairly fresh as a 5 squad. They came together right before the qualifiers, or rather, they swapped some players in right before the qualifiers to create this specific 5-man. And we're going to get to know them a little bit better.
Welcome to another exciting round of rapid fire questions. I'm Dakota. I'm joined by Jabs of Team Fnatic. Hi, Jabs.
Hello.
Raven, are you ready for some fast trivia?
Let's do it. Never ready.
Well, you got to be ready, because here it comes. Who were the 2 teams that played in the grand final of the first TI?
It's Navi and I can't remember.
What 2 teams?
IG and Navi.
Not IG.
Oh. TI1 is eHome and Navi.
That's right. Nailed it.
eHome versus Navi.
Very good. What cities did TI take place in?
Canada is country, right?
Canada's country. Where in Canada, do you even remember?
California.
Begin with a V. Vancouver. You got it. Who's the funniest player on your team? Who's
Raven.
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 You're the funniest.
Yeah, I make myself laugh.
What was the last movie you watched?
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi.
Oh, how would you like it?
It's just okay for me right now because we watch it here on Romania. So they speaking Chinese and they have the subtitle on Romania. So I didn't understand.
You watched the movie, you didn't understand anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, we couldn't understand the Chinese part.
You couldn't understand.
Our manager had to translate it to me.
Oh, okay. Who's the best player on your team?
Me.
Who's the best player on your team?
Me.
Who's the best player on your team?
Me.
Who's the best player on your team?
DJ.
DJ. You know everyone else said themselves, right?
I love that. It says so much about this squad. Who's the best player on your team? And see, they instantly, most of them is like, me.
I mean, you kind of want your players to say that, right? Like,
True.
The support players might want to look towards their cause, right? But I think if you're trying to win TI, you want every single player to be confident in their own performance. So, honestly, I don't mind that answer, especially at TI.
All right, well, let's break this this matchup down. Purge, I want to know what if you're a new viewer and you might not be that familiar with Team Spirit or Team Fnatic. What's the main thing you want people to know about this matchup?
I personally think they're going to run at each other the entire game constantly.
Oh, nice.
They're both super aggressive teams. We saw it in the upper bracket for Team Spirit. I expect to see Fnatic do the same thing. Lots of confidence, lots of fighting. There's going to be a lot of people dying.
A lot of people dying, and that's what we wake up for here this morning. That sounds real bad.
That sounds terrible.
You
But
too?
in Dota 2, I mean, this lower bracket, it's brutal, Kyle. And these 2 teams are teams that, when they came to the main stage, they can perform under pressure. They can do it, both of them.
Yeah, this is one of the more interesting matchups, I think, so far in the lower bracket, just because I think they're like very similar in style and also like expectations coming in. They're both probably in your underdog category, right? And one of these squads gets top 8 right off this BO3. So it'll really come down, I think, who's going to play with more confidence. I'm looking specifically at the mid lane. I think Toronto Tokyo was a bit off what I expected and what I witnessed from him in the DPC. And Shuend has been performing very well in the games that I've witnessed.
I mean, but Toronto Tokyo, they're like, he is the story of what DPC was meant to be, right? Like, remember Season 1, we're talking about him, like, this pub player, like, he's just making all these weird plays, like, he's trying to go for kills and his team's not ready. And then each kind of season, he evolved, and now at TI, like, maybe it's a little bit nerves, but I still feel like he has improved immensely just because of, like, the DPC alone.
Yeah, both of these 2 teams have had a very different road in terms of how they dealt with the DPC. You know, the DPC season is coming in to bring a little bit more stability, but in the case of Fnatic Purge, it didn't quite work out at the start. So they had to make changes.
Yeah, they had a promising road potentially because they did so good in the first season, but Season 2 they dropped the ball in a big way. There was lots of regional competition, obviously that's really important, but they not only didn't qualify to the major, I don't think they got many points at all. They got 5th or something like that. So it's like, if you can't approach that, how are you supposed to do well?
And I really wanted to key in on Jabs, we just saw him there, who asked to draft and retake a spot in the captain's chair before that critical qualifier to come to TI. He will be once again drafting and playing as the captain, but like a wild road, you know.
Yeah.
Their mid player was their off laner, then they pick up Death. Jabs asks, and I also think it's funny, he's the only guy who didn't say himself as the best player, and that I think is an ideal captain's mentality, right? You got to believe in your boys.
And I think the story of Jabs and DJ is a really interesting one because they did have a little bit of an icky start to I guess if you want to call the season, like in September 2020, you know, this team, it looked like it was going to continue, for a little while, it looked like it was going to continue on without Jabs.
Sure, but I think you have to attribute that to how competitive the region is, right? Like,
for
when you
sure.
look at a roster and you see the player names, right, Jabs, DJ, and you're like, oh, cool, they've got to be, you know, top 2, top 3. And then suddenly these other teams just come swinging out of nowhere, right? Like, I feel that people just need to understand that SEA is a very deeply competitive region, and the reason why we didn't always see the same team go into the majors was because, you know, they had to fight up against 6, 7 other strong regions. I'd even compare it to like EU-esque in regards to kind of that depth of play.
Yeah, I think Team Spirit is, by the way, the poster boy of DPC. This is, I feel like, the way it's supposed to be. 4 of the members of Team Spirit were already together before the season. In December, they got signed by Team Spirit, formerly Yellow Submarine, by the way, for those familiar with the Eastern European Dota 2 scene. And the team at the start of the season, Purge, didn't look too hot, but we've seen steady growth as a 5 squad throughout the 6 months that we watched them.
Yeah, we really did. The first season, they had some wins, they had some losses. They went about equal wins as losses. And season 2, they were pretty consistently impressive. They still couldn't take it to VP. It still seemed like VP was absolutely untouchable in their region. But hey, with Team Spirit qualifying, I got really excited because I was like, you know, they maybe aren't the best, but they have some great potential. So happy to see them on the international stage.
Yeah, very important for the region as a whole as well, right, Kyle?
Yeah, indeed. And it's going to be very draft focused, I think. You know, we talked about Toronto Tokyo. This is a Spirit extraordinaire. I think he will most likely be playing that throughout the series. His Kunk also shined once in the groups, but I'm looking at Fnatic as well. You know, the DJ Clockwork, I think, is a must ban, which is crazy because that hero just seems terrible on paper. But when he's playing it, suddenly the team just comes alive. It seems to activate their mentality.
Yeah, we have we saw there Silent, the coach of Team Spirit, and when you're talking about drafting, you have to talk about Silent. Every time there was a post-win interview with Team Spirit throughout the DPC season, and you asked him anything regarding the draft, and they were thankful to this guy right here because it is Silent that is the veteran. Is Silent that this is his first coaching gig, by the way, but he's been crushing it. He's been working with the team a lot, and they all are very happy to have him on board. He's of course supporting Miposhka, who was this is his second TI. I mean, it's not, he's a veteran in the scene team, but it is only his second TI.
Yeah, again, it's crazy to think because I think you look at Eastern Europe, right? It's been kind of held down by certain orgs or players for so long, right? And that's why we mentioned Spirit being the surprise here, because Spirit being here, what team's not a TI? You know, it's Na'Vi, right? Like they had to beat some of the kind of the bigger names to get here, and that's why I think it's so not surprising, but it's so impressive that they are, right?
Yeah, you want to talk about the orgs for a little bit because I find it, you know, it's very exciting to see Fnatic, an organization that's been around for such a long time. This is their 8th international, as we already mentioned. Team Spirit have also been around for a long time, but this is their first international.
Yeah, well, I did a little bit of homework. I wanted to find out a bit more about Spirit. They formed in 2015 with Ramses. That was his, after he played with Scary Faces, right? And that team, they got to a major, but they actually came last, losing to OG back when they had Miracle and Fly and Notel. 2016 kept the same team, but they lost to Alliance at another major. And that was when Bulldog and Loader played on it. 2017, pushed in, tried getting F&G into the mix. You know, these are big names they're picking up every time. Didn't do so well. 2018, Beaver came in as well. Oliver, 9, you know, Tundra players, didn't work out. You then push over to 2019, RTW, Immersion, Misha, you know, Misha now the coach, didn't do so well. 2018, Beaver, within the region. And it was only in 2020, Immersion, Misha, you know, Misha now the coach of OG, Immersion, Monaco Gambit, Nigma, RTW was on Nigma. Like, every year, this team, Spirit, has tried to pick up, like, bigger names within the region. And it was only in 2020 after Yellow Submarine had started qualifying for the events that all their previous teams had failed to qualify with big names, they just swooped them up and went, no, please, become Spirit and we'll try and form you in what you want to become. And it has been an incredible year for these young guys who have gone from just winning qualifiers to now at TI.
Yeah, probably a success story from the current iteration of the DPC, right? There's a big issue.
Will bring us.
Fnatic versus Team Spirit. Game.
Fnatic's
Team
turn
Spirit's
to ban.
turn to ban.
This draft
Oi.
are amazing people,
Oi.
AUI and
Oi.
Wizards.
Oi.
So gentlemen, there are two different kind of
Oi,
styles
oi, oi,
of drafting here. We have
Saya
Team
nonton
Spirit
aja
that
sih ya.
kind of swaps up the roles
Makasih, tapi tadi ada yang aing tinggalin.
that's a little more stable and plays
Nunggu oge sih.
Iyalah. We're gonna expect here from some bands.
From Fnatic,
Ini tapi juga rame sih. Apa? Ini juga rame sih.
Tim Spirit nih ya.
Iya, Spirit Fnatic rame nih anjir.
Si Spirit tapi tol banget sih. Kemarin ya si apa? Yototso, Yotutso. Yang itu kan? Yang kemarin Morplingnya jago anjing. Tokyo mah midnya. Toronto Tokyo.
Oh si Yatoro.
Ya Toro. Ya Toro anjing Morplingnya jago, habis itu sisanya carry-nya sampah anjing. Jaggernya. Jangan pernah Jagger lagi lah.
Kata mah itu antara Jagger Ekel, Jagger Jimmy anjing udah. Setara kayaknya anjing.
It also sort of tells me that they weren't able to really narrow down a style that they specifically wanted to play in the group stage.
One hero that they did play, but they didn't really do well with, 0% win rate actually is Tiny. So Fnatic, they just ban it out instantly. Elder Titan, me and now we were talking about the most valuable first pick. I really think ET in the current meta is most likely first phase material. As it opens up your draft, it can go in any direction. Meanwhile, there is still IO left in the pool, which isn't. Well, they're taking their time. It isn't really Team Spirit's playstyle.
And it's sort of weird that you take your time when you've had so much time to prepare for a match. You've probably gone through a lot of scenarios. This means that Fnatic did something that they did not expect, or they want to someone thought of something a bit last minute. Okay, so it's IO. So as you were saying, I would say not the most comfortable support for them, but they can definitely play, and they have played it.
Definitely.
I agree. I want to mention what you said about the ET. I think ET in this patch is sort of like a net worth deflator for the enemy carry, and the patch is very carry focused, so every time you have an ET in your draft early, it makes it so that it's harder for the enemy team to figure out which carry to pick for themselves.
You just take away all the armor, right, and Morphling suddenly becomes not a hero for your team.
Your carry will kill their carry in 2 seconds, no matter what the matchup
Meanwhile,
is.
Luna is still left in the pool. Luna is still left in the pool. I value these heroes quite highly against the Tidehunter. Maybe Luna a little bit more because you have an IO already on your team. Right?
Can you explain that matchup? The matchup with Luna and IO?
So when it comes to the Luna, the lane is one of the best, I believe, for the carry to offlane matchup, depending obviously on position 4. But you have a Giga Chad collapse on your side. You're getting that Mars in the first phase. There's plenty of carries, but collapse on Mars looks like no one else.
He's played this hero forever, and he's always looked good on it. Even this tournament where I think Mars had a fairly weak win rate, Collapse and Team Spirit, they went 3-2 with it, which was respectable. And even in the games he lost, he was getting these crucial double spears, and it looked like he's carrying team fights. You look at the fight recap, he's at 4k damage on Mars. You're like, what?
When I look at Fnatic as well, Collapse and praising him aside as we're doing it, I feel every single panel. If I wanted to pick for them Nature's Prophet, Clockwork, and any sort of a spirit for your mid laner, and you're happy, you're satisfied, right? That's how I see Fnatic. Then off of that, you can build into whatever, because as I always stated, that tricky on that position 1 role.
Yeah, merging with the crowd a bit.
Yeah.
I was actually a bit surprised that Spirit, they didn't go for the Storm Spirit. I feel like IO into Storm Spirit has been a fairly common opener, especially when you know that, I mean, Fnatic, they can play the Fury on the other roles in 4, but most likely, it looks so good. Sort of like a Jab signature that it's going to be on him. I think Jabs in particular, I think he's ranked 4 on leaderboards right now. Like the guy who's called like IDC MMR, I play for fun, that's Jabs. He's playing support in pubs and he's ranked 4. He's higher than any carry player in the world in MMR.
And he was the only one at the interview that said that it wasn't him.
Yeah.
It was a team.
No, he's crazy. As far as like support's individual skill goes, I think Jabs is up there. On top of that, on the other side of Team Spirit, I think you have Yatoro, who is the highest rated carry player in terms of MMR. Like the top 3, Quinn, GBK, nothing to say, dirty mid players, you know, abusing a little MMR.
He's actually playing carry and still winning MMR.
No, he's still keeping carry. He's one of the players I love playing with the most, actually. He'll pick some Faceless Void, he'll like, hey, you think you're about to TV mid? And
he's nice, right?
He's very nice. He's so pleasant to play with.
It's unbelievable for a carry player in pubs. It's something different, definitely.
I can see Team Spirit, they're sort of vaunted as like big fan favorites in the Eastern European community because their team chemistry and even their personalities are just so pleasant.
They're just friendly.
Can I ask you a question? So there are some really standard bans here, like Monkey King Weaver, even Bane, who had a very good showing in the last series. But why Winter Wyvern?
So Winter Wyvern right here, when I look at it, is kind of strong versus IO. It's one of those heroes that can deal with relocates. I don't value it as highly, so it is a question mark a little bit for me too. Specifically, I would question the Bane even higher because it's a hero that has been first banned at the Dota tournament recently, in the first phase that is, but has fallen off for everyone else but Team Spirit. They value these heroes very highly, and I think perhaps their own biases came into this ban.
I guess perhaps we'll see. Honestly, I don't have a good read on what they're gonna pick next.
Yeah.
Like Winter Wyvern Bane bans. I guess that's like single target physical core. That's like easy to isolate grip or to counter with the Cold Embrace and the Curse. So
that's why the Sven and Yrsa bans, right, on the other side.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess Fnatic had a better read of that. They instantly saw like, oh, they're banning something. I think something that's interesting about the draft is oftentimes your bans are more dependent on the other team's bans and their picks. Especially when you pick sort of like an open lineup like a
and with the Lion ban, Storm Spirit was 100% coming.
That was an instant pick.
Knowing Fnatic, knowing how they want to be playing, if you see that Lion being banned out, you know Storm is coming. This is a hero that they're feeling very comfortable on. Pretty much any Spirit on that mid lane for them works, but Storm Spirit I think is slightly better than any other, and Chuan will have a lot of fun on.
I think in the last couple of matches we saw Storm go against his Spirit brother Ember, and Storm dominated the lane. I feel like getting that Storm is also sort of buffing up Jabs' Fury on position 4. Because I feel like Fury on position 4 should be less comfortable playing against these Spirits that can kill him.
For sure. You don't want to be playing into any sort of hero that can jump you. We've seen Monkey King even struggle at the same way in the last series of VG versus VP. But there comes the Luna that we've talked about. Luna actually with the Disruptor. So it will be some IO. Do you think IO will lane with Luna? Do you think this will be Disruptor position 4?
I think IO Mars just giving him some sustain most likely, but I don't particularly have a good read on it. Like I think it'll depend a little bit on what carry they see. Like maybe it'll be what hero they can pressure, because Fnatic, they're not really showing their 5 or carry right now. They do have like basically 2 counter picks now as they are second pick. I want to mention that Fnatic, they banned the Sven and Ursa, as you're saying, because they banned Winter Wyvern and Bane. I always feel like, especially this tournament, when it comes down to it, in the lower bracket, a lot of carries are favoring Luna right now. She just, especially since the anime, yeah, it's so simple. Everything you do, you're lane strong, you farm fast, you team fight well, you have night vision, your timings are simple and easy. Everything is like in your control, so you can focus on dealing with the pressure and like making good calls.
I'm instantly reminded of the Naga versus the Luna matchup, that one game in which it's just so much harder to execute properly with the Naga. By the way, they banned out the TB on one side, and I'm wondering for Team Spirit, okay, you banned out the TB, where's your reliable catch for the Storm Spirit? You have Mars, but he's not that reliable. The Glimpse as well, it works, but it's, what, are you going to be predicting every single time he zips in to
it's like
set up the
you have
storm?
to, it's pretty hard because you can glimpse storm, he can't OT out of it, right? But you have to see him when he's 4 seconds from when he jumps, or he just jumped you on Disruptor. Like on paper, it often looks like Disruptor's really good against a lot of these Spirit heroes, but they actually just end up jumping and killing you. Yeah, it's not easy.
And the same thing can happen for this IO. So both of these supports kind of suffer from the same things, and that's heroes that can get on top of them easily, which is something that Fnatic has already got. They have the Storm and the Prophet to TP behind the enemy lines.
I like this Ogre Magi pick coming out, assumedly for DJ on Fnatic. I think if you look at their heroes right now, Tidehunter, Storm, and Furion, they all take up a lot of farm. If you have heroes that soak up a lot of farm like that, I think the Ogre Magi is like his frontline tankiness and his Bloodlust are just good to enable those heroes. On top of that, I feel like Fnatic, they play like such a freestyle, sometimes jabs becomes an additional core, right? If you're bloodlusting 4 heroes instead of 3 heroes, you know, it's just all the more effective.
And it's something very simple, right?
It is.
He's going to come into that lane, he's stable, he will bully you out, and later on in the game he doesn't require any farm at all because all of his teammates so far are looking fairly on the greedy side. Meanwhile, that Ricky gets out by Team Spirit. This is something that we mentioned earlier. They played it on position 1, and sometimes when there's one of these niche picks picked by a certain team, if you're playing at the lower bracket, you need to ban that out. You can't test your luck.
And I think they're also banning it because it is good versus heroes. A classic counter to Mars, you know, backstab versus Bulwark. Also, you have double range support.
Arena as well.
Yeah, it's a carry that you get vision and then the Storm jumps, both your supports die. Luna, she's a good hero, she's solid, she's easy to play with, but she's not really that. I mean, she sort of is a 1v5, but she's not. I don't know how to particularly word it. It's like, you take all the farm on the map, but you can't fight the enemy alone. Like, you're more of a frontline hero. We saw in the EG versus Elephant series.
You want to congregate around her, converge, and go take objectives.
Yeah, because she gets super tanky because she's built so many items. Like in the EG Elephant series, they were all landing Arteezy, and his team would win every fight because that's what they were using his net worth for. It's the same thing here. Like, if Ricky was able to scout all his team and they killed them all, I don't think Luna can do it the other way, where all her team's dead and then she's left alive.
It's just the Queen of Pain. I perhaps expected Void Spirit to be banned out. They go with the Ember Spirit. So basically what they needed is a hero that can go in first that also brings a little bit of control. Ember Spirit is probably that one. We've seen this matchups throughout the day multiple times already, and Ember has done actually extremely well at the tournament. I think this might even be a hidden strongest spirit out of the 3.
I think Ember's 4. Honestly, he's my favorite hero of the tournament. I do think that today specifically, Storm has had really good lanes versus Ember, but we saw in the LGD series, Ember's timings and like the pace of the game you play, one mistake from the Storm team and you can just completely take over the game. On the other hand, in the VP series, like GPK, that was a rough laning phase into some rough Ember gameplay, right?
I really don't know what happened in that
GPK's
matchup.
rank 1 for a reason, right? Yeah.
The time is going down though. Who is their last pick?
It's Morphling.
Is that a good pick?
Okay, so Morphling, at least straight off the bat versus Ember always used to be good. You turn into the Ember, you
Morphling cara Fnatic dapat. Ya udah berarti kalah sih.
Hari ini yang pakai Morphling kalah. Berarti kalah.
Oh, berarti metanya terbalik nih.
Tapi nggak tahu anjing si Raven rada imba anjing kalau pakai Morphling tuh.
It's probably a fine pick. But I'm a bit afraid, like, if
King totonya ngambilnya Iyo kan lucu anjing. Morphlingnya totonya ngambilnya Iyo anjing lucu kayak.
Oh, apa ini nge-tether. Nggak tahu sih kalau nge-tether habis itu mukul-mukulin lifesteal. Mantep juga kayaknya. Atau keputus nggak ya kalau misalkan udah beres jadi Morphling?
Nah iya tuh nggak tahu tuh.
Kalau bisa lumayan.
Jir itu idenya galau pisan anjing mukanya. Alien anjing.
Alah tim Spirit lah, gas lah. Tahu kenapa yang dukung tim Spirit?
Kata Fnatic cuan anjing mid nugget. Kudu cuan anjing.
So what do you, Lizard,
Dia
what
yang belum
draft do you
masuk.
think on paper? All things
I'll go with the classic twist. Stories have been told about Raven's morphling. In SCA, this is probably the best player on the hero. So player to hero matchup works really well for Fnatic. Storm Spirit on the mid lane as well. However, at the same time, I feel the complexity is on Team Spirit's side. It's much easier for them to execute this draft. I think it's very easy to get some farm on that Luna, converge together and start taking objectives.
But if you were to pick one team, which draft would you put above the other?
Oh, Team Spirit, yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see. But AUI, what do you think?
I really like Fnatic's chances in this game. For me, like, I don't know, just something about Jabs' fear on being able to snowball a storm sounds good.
It's hard to go against it.
Yeah.
All right, well, we will see how this game plays out. But first, an interview with Jake and Sunbee.
Magic di menit 10 Ogre kali ya.
My thanks will come later, when you least expect it.
Aduh.
Tan. Magic atau Pure di menit 10 paling gede itu kali ya, Ogre kali ya.
Magic atau Pure?
Ogre apa Storm ya?
Storm lah. Kemana dulu, ke hero apa ke creep?
Ke hero.
Hero. Ada apa aja sih? Ada siapa aja?
Ogre, paling Ogre, Storm, kalau enggak Ember paling kayaknya.
Wow, we've seen it.
Iya, antara Ember kalau nggak Storm sih.
And they're well aware that he's perhaps, I mean that's the second time now.
Tapi da Ogre pasti bakar-bakar terus nggak sih?
His opponent on his Mars play, so
nggak tentu. Mereka pasti ngehemat mana nggak sih? Kalau Storm kemungkinan skill 1.
Yeah, he's really good. You know, they're just telling some lies to this guy.
Ciwan.
But we'll see how it ends up going. As they already are into this game, we did have a short pause at the start, which means
Ember juga bisa sebenarnya skill 3 ya.
right into that one. I'm really curious to see how this whole matchup works out.
Bakar awal mah nggak begitu lama soalnya. Lebih Polomo juga sih disrupt kali.
And particularly when you're playing against this Io Luna, the hero that wants to stack up those ancients, it's going to be annoying.
Yeah,
it's
not just like this early game sort of acceleration and ramp up that you're preventing on the Luna by stopping those ancient stacks. It's also just the full out vision game throughout the match, trying to figure out exactly like, you know, where should we smoke to right now, right? You know, or just like catching some random creep wave and playing it to mess with some sort of a push you might be going for somewhere else on the map. Just very good at changing the game state from this hero. Truly a very unique hero movement-wise. And on top of that, they have the other hero with the most.
Soalnya kan dia ngebakar pasti banyaknya sering pakai buat ke hero nggak sih?
Iya, kalau nggak disruptor sih sebenarnya antara dua itu lah. Paling tuh kalau nyicilin dua itu. Nggak tahu sih damage awalnya gedean Ogre apa disrupt. Disrupt juga skill 1 kan lumayan sakit. Area lagi bisa kena temennya juga.
45.
lane together up there on the top side with the Mars.
Oh, look at Jabs down here. Look at this damage with the Bladestone. Oh yeah, getting in there. Unfortunately, Luna, she's a little bit fast, so she won't be punished quite as hard as others. Also didn't get a creep block off. That could have been pretty good, but still, that's free.
45 tapi kan 4 kali.
You can see now as we take a look at all three of these lanes. Chuan playing against Toronto Tokyo, and the panel talked about this already. The sort of woes that we saw on the laning stage the other day. Some of that felt like, you know, maybe potentially nerves out on the big stage or what have you. Don't expect to see a sort of outplay unless things go pretty tragically in the early going for Toronto Tokyo.
Yeah, we'll hope it's not like last series. That is for sure. If you're going for the Ember squad here, I believe the last time that we watched Fnatic here in their lower back match versus Undying. They also had the Nature's Prophet, and they're playing it versus this this Disruptor too, I think. Or at least we've definitely seen this before, but Nature's Prophet into Disruptor, not a great time. There's not a whole lot you can do, obviously.
Iya, tapi bagusnya sih. Iya, Ogre bener.
Ogre terus nanti kan ada stunnya juga.
Si Disruptnya nggak nyicilin.
Iya, pasif sih. Enggak, terus kan nanti Ogre-nya kan rotasi, ada stun juga kan, lebih banyak juga skillnya.
Itu teh apa sih teh? Predik apa?
Predik yang di in-game.
Nggak magic damage paling gede apa?
Ya, magic player with highest total magic or pure damage dan 2 heroes by 10 minutes.
Oh, 10 minutes.
Ya, cuma 10 menit.
Tokyo here is going to get a stack on the small camp. No early movement, or actually never mind, he's not. He's just going over to
Terus ada lagi tadi first baraknya kata gue 30 menit. 30 sampai 40. Terus gamenya beres 44 menit sampai 60 menit. Total kill menit 10 antara 6 sampai 10.
These heroes at various points have looked really strong together. You get a little bit of a half pull there by DJ.
Now will he go for the high ground sentry? He's come back first. This will be very tense here, because you can cover the whole camp from the high ground sentry, and if he goes for the pillar sentry from Chun, he's going to get that obs ward for free too, which is really nice.
You can see Jabs, nice move over there to sneak away the water rune, and Toronto Tokyo going to take a bit of a beating, but still should be perfectly fine with that. That's one of the strengths, though, obviously, of this Nature's Prophet. You can see he's also leaving the one Treant up on the high ground to try and block out and kill the bounty rune. You can see over there,
though, too.
Yeah, Toronto not able to do it.
Yeah, couldn't get it in time, though. Toronto gets there, so very nicely done. And also losing the courier. So now down to the bottom lane goes Jabs to try and give a little bit more assistance over to Death, but Death just doing kind of fine. Is that nice spear up top? But
yeah, well played. Pushes him back in afterwards, and DJ. That's going to be first blood drawn by Mira. Not bad at all. Yeah, he's pretty good on Mars.
Anjir, sakit banget ya Marsnya ya. Demi ke itunya.
Very tough lane for an Ogre, obviously a pretty big target, this Ogre Magi, as he sort of waddles around, but you're hoping to essentially win the war of attrition when you play Ogre in lane, and going into an IO and a pretty tanky hero in the Mars can be a bit difficult, especially because Mars tends to rely on like mana issues and should have a little bit more to spam with the help of Mira.
True. As we see Toronto Tokyo force back a little bit, Jun holding on to that mid lane. And yeah, the empty bottles for both of them will be another water rune that spawns, but not sure. Ember is actually going to have to walk all the way back home. So definitely a good start here for the Storm Spirit.
Chaps is just so annoying too.
Oh, absolutely. It's just what he does, man.
Oh, don't watch that. Only the one tree.
That's fine.
It's okay, 50% accuracy, for now at least.
So can he actually get a courier snipe here as he's going to walk up towards the top spot?
Oh, that would be the soul ring kill too. That would have been so bad, actually.
Wow, just a little bit late, but will still be able to find the kill on the courier, and now going to try and get a little bit fresh up top. Get some help onto this lane. If he's not careful, though, Collapse could maybe just turn onto both of them. You can see.
I feel like they need this tri-lane right now, because Soul Ring IO with this Mars feels very frightening. It's just so much spam.
Yeah. In fact, just chasing Raven down, keeping that pressure on to the Morphling. Only 14 CS so far, getting doubled up right now by the Mars. And, I mean, this is why people don't give it to him. This is deadly. DJ? Gonna get zoned out also. And yeah, this top lane is just a little bit of a bully session that we got coming here from Team Spirit. They were at least able to get this pull off. Which Collapse is now afterwards going to kill off these large camp as well. But it gives a little bit of free time to Raven.
Down bottom, Jabs. Gets turned up by Miposhka, but they put it right back onto him with the gush and the anchor smash.
Able to get the kill onto Jabs. Well played. So far, so good for Spirit. Doing very well out of the laning stage. And I mean, even Ember, who's, you know, the one that's sort of being bullied a little bit here, is not having a terrible time.
Yeah, the best part is I feel like they're just sort of holding the line and then punishing when there's actual aggression coming out, like getting that first spear back towards the tier 1 tower top, and then there when they're trying to bully onto the Disruptor, you manage to turn that back around for the kill on the Jabs.
Big move in now.
Can they turn it once more?
Level 6 is off the mark. They don't have it for Toronto Tokyo, and so he's going to get chased down, but Mira comes in at the last second, able to save his life. and the healing salve going means Toronto Tokyo will live through all that.
It's very good to be proactive in Dota, but that's 3 times now where they're just not getting their mission.
Ya, pasti kan ada pendemo di Smackdown.
You're not getting the kill onto the Ember. Sure, you're punishing and you force out
Mana sih
rotation, but
video
that was
ini
3
mau
heroes
lihat?
coming in from Fnatic, and Mira
Tadi gua liat
relatively
di mana ada
simply
di
able to just
TikTok,
get
gua
there
tadi
and make
liat
the save.
lewat.
Without really forcing his allies to miss out on very much.
It just looks so clean right now from Team Spirit. Like every move that they're making is either finding what they want for the kill or salvaging something that Fnatic is trying to get into a little bit of a disaster for him. You see that movement over from Disruptor, smoke up, and or rather the invis are taken. And now
Langsung pingsan dong, anjing.
out
Langsung
the
pingsan saya itu.
storm. And they do anything there, doesn't look like
Ini
it.
pingsan ya?
Iya anjing. Langsung ngegeletak itu.
Back to the races.
Ini yang saya bising saya mau share ke yang lain.
Look for that 8-minute
Anjing.
to get a little bit active, but already
Gelo di bawah
with
langsung
the
di
armlet
hantem.
freaking Mars.
Gelo tuh
Collapse is
inget
very
anjing.
large.
We got a trend going here, huh? Lots
Smack
of
Mama
armlets
Gale,
here
anjing.
lately in the offlane, and sort of treating it like a little mini Midas, perhaps, in a sense of just like, you know, I'm going off to a really good start. Maybe I don't need my initiation items early. I want to be a little bit greedier.
Right.
But there is a ton of synergy, of course, when you have an IO, right? It's just going to be better than normal just because you're like focusing more on sustain and living longer in the engagements. You know, one good toggle could be that extra save that comes off in the team fight too, or just that little bit of HP that you can help for the IO to like push you over into future survivability.
It's definitely a little bit of a different look. It's something that's, like you said, been gaining popularity as Juan back behind the tier 1 tower. They're going to try and cut this wave and get some pressure onto mid as Ember is nowhere to be found for the moment. He's on the bottom side.
Maybe this is what those offlane IOs needed. Maybe
Yeah,
this is what they were missing, you know?
A real offlaner with them? What are you talking about there?
Well, I meant an armlet, but that would also go pretty well too, I suppose.
That's fair. Toronto Tokyo is completely abandoned mid, as that is definitely necessary. And in the meantime, Aposhka is soaking up a lot of experience on this Disruptor, almost level 6 now, as they're going to do another pull through. Looks like they're going to catch onto that range creep, but this is going to be some pretty solid pressure onto this tower if they want to keep it up.
Disruptor, not the hero you think of for trying to like hold back these towers, right? Especially with a 1-3-1 build, you're thinking of like Winter Wyverns and everything, but the fact that they're not jumping, Fnatic is maybe a bit hesitant with some of the earlier plays not working out. I prefer this instead, just moving to the camp and sort of messing around with Toronto Tokyo.
Oh, careful, careful.
He's got a haste rune, right? It's the rune of invincibility.
True enough.
No one's ever been punished by getting a little bit too ahead of themselves with a haste rune.
Never. Not even one time. But yeah, 8 minutes, so only 2 kills, but a 2,000 gold blade as Team Spirit have just been a little bit more efficient around the map. But Fnatic, wanting to get a little bit of something going for themselves, are going to pressure and take that bottom tier 1 tower.
Great play, right? Luna's hitting Ancients, you take a tower. That's essentially the trade here. Now they want to get their own pressure into the top lane, but you gotta imagine Raven's got help coming, right?
I mean, I think so.
Does he need help?
Urus
You
ya.
know, he's got this by himself?
Oh, tele anjing gila paseng. Morpling sih lihat gak? Ngeroda tapi tele anjir. Terus mau diapain bingung.
Kemarin juga gitu dah si Strom.
Iya, kalau Strom biasa.
Tapi
Morpling
itu
jarang
River
anjir.
aja.
Soalnya pendek.
Ke River aja
Yeah, perfect swap.
Kenapa diem sih Morpling? Tele.
You know, still though, Team Spirit
Aduh
holding the lead
si
despite being
siapa?
down the tower.
Yamato.
They don't look too sure.
Hero-nya gampang tuh.
Love to get himself a kill here on this Mars once that arena's back up.
And it's going to be a DD. Toronto Tokyo able to get that one. A little bit quicker on the fingers.
Aman ini aja anjing.
That is a kill rune if things break right for Team Spirit.
Well, you gotta imagine Death would love to try and go for a play. Like, he's a Storm Spirit and Nature's Prophet. You would think that you could try and go for a kill onto Mira, right? They have this Ob sitting on top of them. They spot the fact they're just sort of lurking nearby. Feels like a prime opportunity, but at the same time, you know, Jabs is hitting Waves bottom. We've got Raven hitting Ancients, and Juren's going back to the base scraps of mana, so we'll see if that's the play. Looks like he actually wants to go Outpost and then come mid, perhaps.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it still feels like the lead is growing
DJ.
in spite of that, but yeah, they're going to get the
a little deep.
back, and that's going to be a quick and easy punish there for Team Spirit as they run find themselves another kill.
Hey, he's taunting away, you know?
Yeah, he's happy about it.
He saw what was coming. Give a little laugh, like, yeah, all right, space for my team.
Middle tower is under attack.
I like this play from Collapse, though. Can't go for kills, goes for
Anjing si Chuan berani banget.
Farm up some of these neutrals that Chuan was looking for.
A little bit of a battle going on for these ones here. He's thinking about it, wants to jump.
They're smoking towards
them. Mira with death coming in also, jabs there, the jump away, tries to live, it Collapse will get out, but they lose the bio.
Oh, so I think Team Spirit were thinking about contesting that. They'd actually smoked up Yadoro as well as Maposhka, and we're sort of moving that way, but it looks like Collapse just made the call, like, no, not worth. Like, don't bother coming.
Yeah.
Now, Mira makes some space, he TP's out. Much like DJ being sacrificed, they'll allow Mira to fall for the benefit of the squad.
Still standing tall, feeling comfy with where things are at, it looks like, on Team Spirit.
Pon Papua lomba berenangnya beneran di laut anjing, bukan di stadium gitu gua.
Nggak tahu, kayaknya ada juga deh. Yang si Timbo ya?
Iya.
Nggak tahu emang ada juga gitu, ada yang gitunya juga mungkin. Anjing kekurung cina.
Keluar.
Are you kidding me? Unreal. Toronto, Tokyo, even lurking in the area, wants to find something in exchange for all this with the invis, but
he can have a courier. In terms of that's what he wants.
Wow.
It's a very small prize after what looked like a mid-kill. Yeah, unbelievable stuff. Great saves coming in there from the team. And it just feels like Fnatic finally getting themselves their own stifling of some moves there as Team Spirit trying to go for the place. Still a healthy lead here, 3 to 4K-ish net worth for Team Spirit. And Yadoro just making his way through the jungle here on this Luna, top of the last hits, top of the net worth, and you know, to see Collapse so close behind as well. Having an absolutely fantastic game for two of the cores here on Team Spirit.
He really does feel like he's been the one that's been able to set that tempo pretty consistently as the Spear's going to come out now onto death.
Stand back, I'm hitting the tower. Move out of the way.
And death is slowly but steadily getting whittled down. Still 80 seconds before Ravage is up, and he has to actually back out of there. They can't fully commit for the kill, but if he sticks around, he will die. So waddling is a little bit OP for the Tidehunter, as he will walk away from them all.
Oh, they're going to clear up the vision around here first. Again, just sort of playing the front line here for Yadoro. Like the way that they're moving across the map, sort of having to balance out any potential smoke ganks that could come towards their precious Luna. Just continues to rise there. I imagine Fnatic just looking for that first big item. Particularly the Orchid for Chun was being looked at here, and has one of the Oblivion staffs done, and then of course have an opportunity to perhaps kill Toronto Tokyo. Toronto Tokyo though is going straight for the BKB this game after the Falcon Blade.
And we saw something also as that was going on mid. Jabs was able to sneak in one little treant that Yatoro killed, but it blocked the Ancients before that ended up happening. So
classic Jabs.
I mean, he keeps on putting in, just like they ran one treant in there, and now Yatoro's farming in a little bit of a more dangerous position, but a nice play to do that economic damage where you can on Jabs.
That's right. I mean, that was the main punish that we saw in the best game that Jabs had on the Nature's Prophet when he was blocking out the Ancients constantly.
Morphlingnya langsung mantap dulu
just kept
dong.
being forced into the top lane and having to fire
Buat ini nggak di silent.
Udah
pasti si Strong. Siapa?
Oh,
mantap.
But they were able to get
Oh,
away on
mantap
Toronto
juga
Tokyo.
ya.
Now looking for some counterplay. Jabs been very annoying to play
Morphling.
against.
Nanti nggak main shotgun nih.
Just TP'd up here, so.
Shotgun enak pada ada Luna, ada Iyo.
He's gonna do it again to him. So the economic damage.
Lunanya BKB.
This is just what's
Meanwhile,
so annoying
they're
about
under
this
vision
hero.
as well in their jungle.
Looking for the jump right away onto Collapse.
Aneh ya, orang-orang gini cuma satu hajar aja udah.
Killa, maybe, possibly. Yeah, they got him. And Mira falls to
Toronto
boom.
Tokyo.
Fnatic making the moves.
Yeah, couldn't find the relocate there. Too many heroes around. I wasn't confident they'd be able to succeed in it. Excellent punish there. Staying back onto the tower from Jabs and then having that very defensive vision.
Tinggal
I think the team Spirit want to play in this area, right? Because you're forcing them out of the triangle. You're not allowing Yadro to be in there, so he's going to
mau nggak ada yang skill juga wajib Orchid
to help protect that Luna.
Mana lagi
And you know that this Mars wants kills. You know he's bloodthirsty.
And look again.
pinter banget anjir di ini dong.
The main stage, in group stage.
Anjing biar nggak spawn, gila NP-nya pinter banget cok.
Totonya kurang luar dikit dan kurang dalam dikit.
Get out anjir. Kalau out ketahuan.
Iya nggak sih? Tahu-tahu kurang. Tahu kurang ini dan di kotaknya teh kurang masuk dikit gening. Nyawa nyari sentry dia, bisa di sentryin.
Padahal.
Oh man. My punch is gonna be like, dude, I promise you.
Iya anjir jago banget ya.
So frustrating.
Dari kemarin dah yang pakai NP gitu.
This is the punish. The nature's prophet getting picked.
Krimnya mereka udah ngeliatin gini semua. Sebenarnya kurang lebih mah sama ya. Apa maksudnya jagonya mereka ini lagi anjir. Lagi cene. Satunya anak coy. Satunya beneran kelebihan.
Trying to make things happen, and in the meantime, they're just passively using gold. Could be a good kill if they can get it.
Enggak, di dalam.
Toronto, Tokyo
masih di dalam kotak.
goes down. Fnatic making these plays.
We got a very dangerous 1,000 gold to farm here for an Ember Spirit. When a Storm is going to be roaming the map looking for your head. That Orchid always going to be prepared and
sus langsung ulti anjing mati 2 ulti langsung.
Getting a little bit of retribution.
Kelo tuh. 3 kan nama Iyo.
Iyo nggak nge-damage anjir.
Iya maksudnya ultinya sayang.
And Jabs just going to TP out of that one. The collapse, relocate back with Mira to the bottom.
Tapi belum ada yang ngalahin Io-nya Ana ya.
And again, Toro
gameplaynya gila banget Ana anjir.
From keeping the pressure on and now farming into their jungle potentially.
Ana garing banget sekali menang udah pensiun
here.
Well, I imagine Team Spirit are going to try and bait out
Apa sih emang?
Might see a play like that, where you can see them now, like Collapse and Mira kind of like shadowing Toronto Tokyo on the map because they have the BKB on Collapse. So perhaps hoping that a similar jump play will be attempted there from Fnatic, and they'll look for the punish once the Storm's back up. But very deep vision here from Fnatic, spotting out actually all the movements lately from Mira and Collapse. Over on the right-hand side of the mid lane, they had wards there. Now they just moved through the triangle. That was also just spotted again. So they should have a very good idea of the current game plan here from Team Spirit, and it involves the depth of that top tier 2 tower and taking over your jungle.
And you can see that these treants also in on that vision game. They're going to pull him back in now. Catch on the jabs, caught onto a tree, and killed off. So Team Spirit tired of the shenanigans and wanting to keep the pressure on, take down this tier 2 tower, turn to the outpost.
Yeah, I doubt this glyph will end up stopping their assault here. So as you said, right on through.
Dire's top tower.
And big goals attained here for Team Spirit. Now instantly TPing down to that bottom lane as well. Collapse coming down here. Relocate as well with the glimpse.
And pulls him in right in to bring him down as they turn onto death. Gonna find that kill. There's a lot of fancy stuff going on by Fnatic, but Team Spirit just easy peasy. Take it down with the Luna IO.
Well, we got a lot of BKBs being worked on this game. We're trying to get as many kills in as we can before they're out here. About 400 gold away there for the Tide Hunter as well. So some early BKBs pretty much for everybody in this game, and that means that, if we head into that mid and late game, we're going to be having to keep a careful eye on all these timings.
Something to watch for sure. The Team Spirit, they don't
want to
necessarily. If they can keep this going, go right into Roche.
Ya, tapi padahal bisa buat nyolong Io mah. Io destruktur kan lumayan ya padahal. Instan.
Takut kena smoke kali ya. Lebih aman nih.
Yeah, okay.
Lebih aman.
No,
yeah,
thank
itu
you.
pemikiran mereka.
Fnatic, it's all death. Don't bring him over.
Dar langsung. Buka.
Gak ada dagger, cowok.
Oh, nggak dagger ya. Tidur.
BKB dulu, tag-tagnya juga.
Oh, mantannya buat menghindari Luna. Biar nggak terlalu.
Mira silence, chase down, but they can't find that finish.
So the trade ends up being a 1-for-1.
Kayaknya juga langsung BKB dulu, bukan dagger dulu.
Yeah, Ravage
and another one afterwards. DJ pulled back in.
Kalau sih disrupt kayaknya susah agak anime jadi BKB dulu nggak apa buat ngindarin ultinya.
Throws out the sprout, doesn't have anywhere left to go,
Dan
and he too will fall.
Iya, ini ngebela Spirit ya, kenapa yang memihak Fnatic bangsat?
All that from a Roche Fnatic.
Hero-nya suka Fnatic sih sebenarnya.
That temptation
Dari
to
hero-nya.
test. You have the Storm, you have the
Gitu.
Ravage, you think, oh, what if we just get in there and grab the Aegis?
Kan udah dibilang yang bawa Morpling hari ini kalah.
Belum kalah.
Straight through. I killed Roche. I took an Aegis.
Beda
Not
4.000.
so much this time.
Unfortunately,
Sama
wasn't there
Luna.
in time to be able to go for that steal. And now Team Spirit again coming down from that upper bracket.
Oh, tapi tadi nggak mati sih ya.
Go up game number 1 in this best of 3 elimination match. A 6,000 gold lead. And time and again, we're seeing this Luna pay dividends.
Well, they want to keep the pressure up here with the Aegis smoking up. That's a Daedalus.
That's a big item.
That's a lot of damage.
15,000 net worth right now on this Luna.
And that arena and the Ember, like the chase down potential as well as the setup for the relocate, there's just so much time, you know? It's going to be very hard to get away. The BKB's here for Tide, though.
Oh, they're coming down bottom.
They had a good idea of this too. Now he does have TP. He has the Essence Ring as well. This is one tough Storm to get. Jabs also using his ward to TP in here.
And instead trying to get aggro. Able to find a kill, but does it come at a cost to relocate in? Shuen going to fall. Jabs afterwards also in the dirt.
I feel like Chuen's just like, oh, there was a tree there, you know, right by that little signpost. Very unfortunate.
Oh, beneran jadi iyo kan?
Turn into the other way.
Jadi ikut ngetem.
That was the skin of his teeth there.
That's a pretty quick move.
Yeah, not bad.
Asal ada hitter satu lagi enak tuh ya kan.
To be fair, he knew the IO was coming for a while.
Gak ada anjir.
Ya nggak sih, kalau itu jadi hitter ya ada hitter ya satu lagi anjir.
Gak bisa.
This time trying to find little pickoffs.
Oh, tapi tadi kayak keputus pas jadi Morplingnya lagi.
Iya, langsung hilang.
Your opponent from pushing as a single like 5-man blob.
Tadi coba kabur. Morpling pro player ini pada pinter anjing, ngambil skill cepet banget tuh mikirnya.
Now this Aegis have been there for a while. Your vision
Buat
starts
kabur
to
langsung
decay in
morpling
these
coba.
situations.
Aing situ mau kabur mah jadiin strength aja udah, nggak usah ngambil skill siapa-siapa.
So now the ward's gonna get
Iya, nggak mikir ngambil skill, ngambil ini lagi.
Mikir gitu ngambil Io, oh ada temen ambil Io langsung cabut.
They're not very helpful if there's any vision ahead of the path here for Team Spirit. I imagine they're going to look for some really nice deep wards. Pochka's got 3 sentries and 2
Oh, sengaja jadi hitter karena susah juga kalau ada yang nge-rap. Enggak, goblok. Aing salah lihat posisi.
Oh, the position where they're going to try and keep that pressure on like you're talking about.
Wah, langsung kena si Jabs.
Getting going on. Hello. It was nice of you to give that one away, but the ward drop down won't be enough to keep him alive.
Untung untuk kurir nggak kelihatan ini si Luna anjing.
You know, defensive ward on the high ground there from Fnatic.
Ini kelihatan cuma ini.
Situations just so quick from Spirit. Just
kejauhan dari si
turnaround play. Really, of course, you have the Aegis and everything. Not worried that he's going to TP out before you get there. They just want to grab that free pick and try and get some revenge on everything he was up to with their Ancients.
Too true. 8,000 gold lead now. Fnatic have done a good job of being able to dodge some of these fights, but again, Toronto Tokyo recognizing danger, zips out of there the last second. So Fnatic still dropping down bit by bit in net worth, but it is not necessarily the end of the world for them.
They're finding very small trades across the map, and they are moving into these BKBs. And, you know, we've had several games now at TI where the BKBs really turn things around. This one's not free.
Looking for it, jump, but saved immediately. Collapse, now turns onto the storm, takes them down, no buyback, 50 seconds. Just like this, the game is blown completely open. Fnatic, they've got to defend without their storm. Another 40 seconds, Hidoro keeping himself alive as they take down another DJ to fall. Has to buy back on the Ogre, and then you look, just hero after hero keeps on dying from Fnatic. Jabs is gonna drop, they keep on turning on to more. Toronto Tokyo, this is an absolute slaughter as they find a triple kill for Collapse. Somebody make it stop. GG, they're done.
They just let
langsung GG kan?
25 minutes, Team Spirit.
Nice, Team Spirit.
Right through this game, right through those BKBs.
Salah semua prediknya anjing.
Nah iya. Siapa Magic ini?
Si Strom.
Strom.
Ngegeng soalnya si Stromnya tadi ngegeng lain.
Iya. Nah, di bawah menit 10 sih masuk. Kalau pro player mah kemana-mana soalnya bukan kita.
Iya nggak, maksudnya nggak ke ini, nggak ke expect ya. Jadinya nggak ke expect.
Ya, ini kira ya, apa kayak Embernya gitu datang mau mukul creep pasti di skill 1 sama si Storm gitu. Tapi ya bingung juga nih.
Iya gue mikirnya juga Ogre kan, mungkin Ogre-nya kan biasa ngegeng juga kan.
Ternyata gedean damage-nya Storm tetap.
And captured all your resources.
Yeah, and it felt like there was you know, these couple of moments where things were starting to go good, and then eventually the BKBs came online for the Luna. Toro was basically never touched throughout that game. 8-0 and 8 on a Luna is a really impressive feat. And I guess that, you know, maybe thinking about trying to take Team Spirit out of their comfort zone might be what they need to go for here, and possibly think about removing that Collapse Mars.
I think he's a very easy one to look at too with Collapse on the Mars, but I think Maposhka as well played fantastic on the Disruptor. Like going for all that vision, having the pickoffs on the Tide early before the BKBs, he's one of the reasons why they're forcing that item build to be rushed out so quickly. So it's not a single hero answer here, I don't think.
Well, we'll see if anybody else has some answers. We'll head on back to the panel and let them break that one down.
Thank you very much, Lyrical. Lots of breakdown in that first game of the best of 3 elimination series between Team Spirit and Fnatic. Team Spirit taking game 1. I'm here with Kyle, Purge, and T-Gov, and we are going to try to break this game down. And I like what Trent says about Miposhka being one of the MVPs on this Disruptor, but I do want to start by talking about the Mars, because frankly, Kyle, that is the Collapse hero, his star hero, and we heard Sunby say it in the interview too.
Yeah, it's not just the hero even, it's this armlet build. It is 75 damage when activated on strength heroes. 15 base, 25 strength, 35 damage for 2,500 gold. Like, it's so value. You have to sustain from your Wisp, and you compare that to the enemy Tide who's got a hood. The offensive damage impact is just...
It's a big difference, yeah. Like, and it's not just that Collapse is playing; it's that he also has an IO. So, like, if it was a normal laning stage against a Morphling, he'd do fine, but maybe not crush as hard. But you could really tell that he's experienced playing the combo. Miro plays IO in pubs very often, so his like comfortableness, just like going through clearing triple stack, like going from camp to camp, like he was ready for that.
Yeah, and for me, it's the fact that Spirit, this is something that IG actually run at the tail end of the group stage. They beat OG with JT on the Mars, with the IO, exact same build with the Armlet, and Collapse 6 days ago, he also played IO Mars, but did not do the Armlet build. So this is one of those things where a team at TI is still looking at everyone else, still understanding and kind of crunching the numbers, because 6 days ago, Collapse would have not done this build. But today, because JT done it, and he said, wow, that's really good. Yeah. They improved it, they optimized it. Like you mentioned, farming the jungle, going in front. Like, he had, I think it was 514 GPM at 18 minutes. Wow. Compared to Luna, who had 542. Like, they were top 2 the entire way. Like, you do not see a Mars have this much farm in the game. And it's just
Toro 8-0 bro. Positioningnya bagus.
But they are still appreciating
Kali
and
ini
serving all other teams in competition, so they can make sure that they can do
Ya
the
bisa tolol. Mungkin dia demennya hero range kali ya. Hero melee tolol.
Nggak bisa hero melee.
They have had their ups and downs during the group stages, and both of these, of course, first timers here on the main stage. Purge, how did you feel like
Waktu itu kalah sekali lagi pakai apa ya dia?
Expecting it?
I mean, there was a lot of pressure.
Jagger sama apa ya kemarin ya?
Contest runes, contest bounty runes. They did try to do some ganks on
Carry apa ya kemarin ya? Lupa
he got out of them, and while his net worth wasn't as high as either Luna's or
Kalau melee lagi sih
Nobar's,
berarti.
it didn't matter because he basically aggroed space and eventually did set up some initiations.
Yeah, because that story
Ursa gitu ya?
Like they picked a third on Fnatic. That was supposed to be their key part of this draft.
Ursa apa TB gitu. Tapi
Luna, like
lupa gua.
concept that buys BKBs and runs at you.
Oh, NS tan.
Play for that, but I think I look at the draft. I just
Oh,
I
NS.
made this mistake as well.
NS gitu kalau nggak salah.
Draft for my brother. You'd think to yourself, wait, wait.
Night Stalker?
He's playing Ogre.
Iya.
Masa sih? Kok carry NS?
Bentar, gue lihat. Morphling. Oh, CK.
Oh iya bener. Mele kalah.
Iya.
Konspirasi.
Menang ya Ten ya.
Konspirasi.
Iya.
Allowing Twin to have that instant impact into the game, and then they're snowballing themselves. Like, I'm yet to see a
Lapar,
Fnatic game where they
euy.
have been convincingly winning, where it's like even back and forth. It's like they will break down the map quickly and like be in your face, or it's
Apa sih lo live-nya jelek banget anjing.
exactly, and I think it's incredible they got here. But when they're doing the exact same kind of mannerisms in a game, which is, you know, play your side lane, pick strong laning heroes, run at mid tower, like this is very kind of like textbook Dota. And I'm hoping that game 2 they can go, wait a second, we're incredible players. How about we like change it up, because it's the same strat every time.
Yeah, we talk a lot about timings over the last couple of days. It seems like that's the key word at this international. And it kind of felt, Purge, that the timings of Fnatic, they were there, but they were just a lot slower than on the side of Team Spirit, meaning they had a game plan, but in terms of execution, they just couldn't...
Mama lu kemarin berarti nggak diundang sih, Jotan?
I think they just start off.
Enggak, itu mah kan saudara nyebrang itu mah.
Can do a little bit bad in lane, but usually catches
Nyebrang bapak,
kills here and
bukan dari satu kakek.
But like if he was like 15
Masih ipar ya berarti ya?
at a very early point
Ipar
in the
enggak
lane,
juga, enggak ipar.
start your morphling off and so
Dari
that one
pokoknya
is just
intinya
like, I agree with a lot of stuff Tiga said, but you can't lose your lane that bad. And,
papahnya mama gua punya adik, nah itu baru turunannya si Jo.
Berarti masih
jadi kakak adeknya sama ini papahnya.
Ibarat di angkatan mama gua berarti.
Apa ya?
Iya kayak di jatuhnya kayak mama gua sama yang lain. Kayaknya gitu deh.
Kind of boil down to the fact that, you know, Jabs normally like, okay, when you have heroes like Morphling, right? And they have a
Oh, berarti kayak ini, kayak
gua, Cok. Kayak gua sama Kovilbet gitu.
Bukan, justru kayak Mama lu sama Kotomi. Iya dong, kan Kobe kan ini.
Benar-benar.
Kan Kobe sama Kocun, anaknya Kotomi sama Ciana, itu deretan situ.
Iya.
Maybe like this style of Mars, right? Most Mars players, they AFK in their lane, they kind of bonk, they spear, they chill, like they're giving away the farm. They're not like.
Lagi pula itu mah nanti persepsinya mah Maret cenah.
Terus kemarin baru ijab kabulnya doang ya?
Pemberkatan Kristen gak diundang juga.
Mesah heula. Biar sah dulu.
Iya, mes teh halal anjing. Si Ijo digeber terus anjing tiap hari gelo anjing.
And you have a Tide Hunter who goes this hood first.
Lagi ngobrolin ini, ngobrolin apa? Analisa.
Curhat.
Ntar lah. Aing mau ini dulu kan. Apa katanya nanti mau udah masa subur gitu ya, harus digeber dulu.
Really just I think a lower bracket.
Besok udah masa subur tuh hari ini terakhir.
The complexity
ngeri.
Easier in the case of Spirit's game
plan. Nges di eta berarti nges dipalak.
Chill, like you
nges dipalak. Menta cucu ku indungna.
Enggak lah. Itu nahan. Justru dia nggak mau sampai masa subur tau. Dia ngindarin masa subur.
Oh, biar nggak jadi.
Iya. Kan mau persepsi dulu. Kan pengennya kayak ini, nggak kayak kok Andri.
Kayak sini, kayak ini Rizky Bilar.
Nggak ngerti ah, nggak ikutin.
Ntar hamil dulu baru nikah. Baru resepsi.
Emang bener.
Iya. Katanya mah udah pengakuan.
Nah, si lo gosip nih. Gosip.
Gua nonton dari sama emak gua ya.
In this case, you know, the Tide Hunter getting the big ravage, the Storm getting the big jump. Why couldn't they set up this big high ground defense?
Mulai lagi belum sih? Lagi belum.
Because Fnatic's heroes are all about kind of pushing forward and poking, you know? Like, they can only defend the high ground if Morphling has maybe Manta, BKB, Skadi +1. His damage output won't really be there. They've got a lot of, like, annoyance and kind of control to some degree, but they're not killing things. And it also does help
15 menit lagi, 10 menit lah kayaknya.
Are like 24 minutes, have BKB. So if they want to occupy the dire high ground, they just have to go up there, you know, go all golden, and they're going to pretty much win any fight. And that's the big spit.
For next time, it's just like too many items deep.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just so greedy, and Spirit are recognizing this. Like, they also got way more value out of their first item. You know, Armlet is just, I think, the most busted item right now because it also has the build-up component of Helm of Iron Will. So for like an extra 100 gold, you get free armor and slightly less regen. So your lane is really strong. Armlet makes you just, it's more than a relic worth of damage. You're an Ember Spirit, like early BKB. What did the initial round of items for Fnatic really help them with?
And it was like a really rare case where Armlet actually allows your offlaner to out-damage a Morphling carry.
Yeah.
Normally it's like he has this 20-30 damage advantage, but then they're just running at him. They're sitting there attacking a Morphling, drop the ulti when he waveform out and TP'd out. Like, the pressure was insane that they got from the extra damage.
Well, it is time to shift
dong,
our
udahlah,
focus a
2-0 lah.
little bit. Of course, that was just game one. This is a best of 3, and we're going to see if Fnatic can bounce back and force out that third game in the best of 3
Ini mau
series.
servis
Both
mobil
teams
aja.
are ready to take their
Tapi jadi
seats
bingung mau
again
di mana
in
ya?
the
Takut
pods
mahal.
on the main stage. And for
Wah,
Team
jebret 2
Spirit,
juta
we're
aja, aduh
gonna hear more from
anjing.
them right now because earlier Casey was able to sit down with the captain.
Team Spirit had a season of mixed results, missing out on the Singapore Major in March, but snagging 7th, 8th place in June's ANA Major. Lacking the points needed to secure a spot in the biggest Dota tournament of the year, they dominated in the Eastern European qualifiers to punch their ticket to TI-10. Allcr got together with Miposhka right after the team qualified.
Goblok ini nggak
started getting his
nyampe-nyampe.
take on the season as a whole.
Как вы перед собой, как перед составом, какие ставили цели, чего хотели добиться и...
Kenapa antar aja lama banget?
Ну, короче, когда мы еще узнали про формат, какой вообще он будет, как проходить этот сезон.
Enggak, aing justru ngirim barang.
Типа каждый матч очень важен, потому что ну, очков довольно много в лиге. И, соответственно,
Si antar aja anjir lama banget.
лучше нужно цепляться.
Masa masih di Hub Bandung jam tanggal 12 ini?
Больше шансов иметь на то, чтобы там вообще получить
Ini juga yang antar aja pada
Receiving that
delay.
direct invite to TI proved out of reach over the course of
rank
the
tuh bisa
inconsistent
reset ya?
season. They
Resetnya
managed to
gimana ya?
qualify for the ANA Major in June,
Rank?
but as it approached,
Iya. Bukannya
Ada
lagi
seasonnya kan?
lagi ini kan bisa ganti rank gak sih?
Ada
Bisa
season
reset
ininya kan? Ada season resetnya. Nggak tahu kapan, lupa.
Kalau bisa ganti reset, kalau bisa reset yang reset sekarang anjing.
Cuma kalau mainnya masih cukup,
Enggak lah.
enggak lah.
Поверили в своих каких-то героев, как-то начали больше, меньше сомневаться, я бы даже сказал, наверное. Да и в целом это как-то просто изменило ход игр, которые у нас потом были.
Team Spirit is now focused forward on playing the International, and though it will be the first for most of the team, Miposhka's experience at TI-7 with Team Empire means he knows just how different that stage feels.
Вот что вот с этого International ты для себя запомнил?
Да, блин, самые крутые воспоминания, это, наверное, просто вот после победы над Evil Genius, когда там выходишь с кабинки, там все орут, кричат, это еще те самые ланы со зрителями, вот, и ты это начинаешь впитывать вот всю эту мощь зала, энергию, и как-то вот, ну, блин, просто себя, не знаю, превосходно чувствуешь, просто какой-то, как король какой-то выходишь, и это просто, не знаю, вот это самое замечательное чувство, наверное, когда ты выигрываешь и выходишь на сцену и чувствуешь поддержку зала. Вот. Это, наверное, самое офигенное чувство.
Yeah, that run that Miposhka had with Team Empire at that TI was definitely a little magical. They were playing with Resolution, who was standing in for one of the players that wasn't able to make it, and they made it pretty deep as well. And I asked Resolution, because that was Miposhka's first TI, and I asked Resolution, like, what was it like playing with this guy? Like, how was he in the booths? And he described Miposhka as the perfect support player. Like, both obviously in game, but also very much so outside the game. He's your friend. He's reliable. You know he's got your back, T. That's so important.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of instrumental in any modern day Dota team now, where you kind of need to, you don't, like, playing Dota isn't, it is a job, but like you can't treat it like a job, right? You need to be able to disconnect from the game and talk about your problems, or even just, you know, have a laugh with them, because when things do go wrong at an event, it's like, it's so critical that you have that kind of, that pact there ready to lean on.
You gotta be chill. And Maposhka, I mean, we've talked with him all year long during the DPC. Like, he's kind of just been the same guy, whether they were succeeding, winning, losing, what have you. He's just always solid. And it's fun because he was, I think, underrated by the scene for a while. After that TI7 run, you know, you'd see him like kind of popping up on teams here or there, but he wasn't put in the same category of captains with people like Solo or FNG. He was always like that tier 2 guy. And I really just don't think that that's truly the case.
It really is. And let's focus also a little bit more on Fnatic, because we're talking about a game 2 in a best of 3 elimination, and it is Fnatic that just lost game 1. So they have to step it up. They have to adjust. Purge, quick words. What do they need to change in this game 2?
They have to stabilize the lane for Raven. It's really important.
All right. Can they do it? Can they force out that 3rd game of this best of 3? We're gonna find out.
Fnatic versus Team Spirit. Game 2.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Draft Panel. I am here with 2 very tall people, AUI and Lizard. One of the things that the panel said, oh my gosh, please don't shrink anymore. So one of the things that the panel said is that Fnatic will need to stabilize Raven's farm throughout this game. Do you think that that's a good strategy? Do you think that that's
yeah, I completely agree with that idea. I think on top of stabilizing Raven's farm, making sure he has a good game, Collapse was just out of hand that game. That Armlet Mars, one-shot and creep waves, basically top net worth in the game. It was too much. It's too much pressure on the map. It's too much damage and scale, just everything.
Do you think it's very difficult to focus on what you need to change when you got your full comfort zone, like you did in first game? Because they did, right? They were playing all the heroes that they would usually pick. Nature's Prophet was doing so much work. Looking at the beginning of the game, I understand why most teams tend to ban it. Controlling both the bounty runes, constantly blocking the ancient camp. Like, he's farming at one specific spot in the dire jungle and just sending his little pesky trees just to block camps.
di-ban, Io di-ban.
Constantly having them for vision. It's so
Di-respect
important.
Io-nya.
But it did go through once again. However, Elder Titan was banned out in the first stage of the last game. This time around, Fnatic, they realized it's not, so they pick him up.
One of the things that you mentioned last time, Elder Titan is super strong hero. Can you explain why he's a first phase pick?
So I think Elder Titan, he's sort of like the complete package, as a lot of first pick heroes are. He's very stable in lane, often
Besok gua latihan. Bisa sih kalau makan siang.
And he gets vision, he gets
siang.
Bukannya jam berapa ya cara?
Most importantly, he can make it so that you nullify
Kita
a
lihat
lot of the
di
enemy
Go
carries
Ogle.
that work through your aura. On top of that, if the game goes late,
cara ada lagi. Ya, cara ada tetos.
even some eggs into mass commander. So we've seen in this game.
Sama aja tetos juga nggak apa-apa lah.
Like solo the enemy team's mid sniper.
Bes kalau tahu sih, cara ada mah kayaknya bukannya dari pagi biasa.
Buka jam 10 sampai jam 9 tos.
Cara ada jam 11 tuh buka bebas.
Udah tetas aja lah yang deket lah. Revealnya juga lebih enak. Tetas. Cara ada teh harus minta terus.
Enggak ada cara ada juga sekarang ngambil sendiri.
Iya, tapi jauh. Sama tujuannya satu doang mah ngapain? Kecuali ada tujuan yang ya, kuda sih. Ya, kuda sih. Weaver, Tai, Lunanya diambil. Apakah ini meta Luna hari ini? Yang megang Luna sebenarnya menang.
Ya, dari tadi Lunanya menang terus.
Wah, bener anjing hari ini. Meta Luna.
Kemarin Morphling, sekarang Luna.
The Mars, because they understand just how strong
Luna
the
di
hero is at the
apa
moment.
ya?
Also, keep in mind the Titan Hunter plus Weaver have a lot of natural synergy together. That Gush plus the
Terror Blade aja kalah anjing ketemu
bring
Luna.
out a lot of damage plus minus
Apa?
armor,
Terror
making
Blade aja
any
kalah
impossible
anjing sama
for
Luna.
that position 1.
Oh iya.
Tadi game sebelumnya.
I was gonna say PA, but
Kalau refresher sih iya juga ya.
that hero isn't picked once.
Sebener.
Enggak,
Kalau backup
adu hitter.
Minus armor is solid. We've seen some Weaver plus Titan Hunter plus SF on
Wah,
the mid lane.
sayang juga MK-nya dia ban. Kayaknya lawan MK menang.
Yeah, this
Makanya
lane.
dari tadi juga
lagi-
banyak support kan, nggak banyak main core.
Picks and the bans went out for first phase, so
Mbak,
Weaver
ya
Tiger
bisa lah
instantly
sih.
picked, and then the bans came out
Tapi
super
kan si
fast.
Toro
One of
ini
the
ya,
things that
Ciong
another
sama
analyst
melee.
said was that they will generally
Dia
use
harus
up most of
hero
that
rank.
time so that they can
Saatnya
make sure that
sniper.
they're not making mistakes. But why did those
Tadi
Ayo,
juga
Toro.
akhirnya keluar dah kayak draw gituan.
So just to continue.
Oh. Ayo,
Draw
sniper ya,
Medusa
Toro.
tuh tadi keluar ada anjing.
Medusa mah emang keluar terus, sering. Kalau draw ya juga baru keluar. Sniper lah, bisa lah sniper.
Mirana juga bisa nggak sih?
Mirana kalah nggak sih?
WR kemarin juga ada WR mid.
Nah, WR oke lah.
Bans put a little bit out of what they planned exactly. Or honestly, sometimes it's like they didn't ban something you thought they would and you like it. So you're like, ooh, two main good options. In this case, I think they knew exactly what they wanted for versus Outer Titan, so everything's expected.
Do you think that in the second stage you still go for Nature's Profiteer? Because it's still in the pool. If you're Fnatic,
Tong cari
you're
heula tuh.
feeling extremely comfortable on the hero, but then again, you just came from a loss with
Ngantuk, sudah tunduk.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little bit of a Nature's
Beda
Profiteer.
11 jam berarti mereka jam.
Ya, anggap aja langsung hitung aja jam 11 siang di sana.
10 siang lah. Kok berarti pagi-pagi banget ya mereka.
12 siang dong.
And stability over a lot of other factors. Like you can have a
Mereka mulai dari jam 2. Masa jam 2 subuh mulainya?
Kan jam 2 sini Tan.
Iya, berarti jam 1 subuh mereka dong.
Kalau 11 jam berarti jam 3. Iya ya.
Especially because of the way
Iya, pokoknya antara plus minus 1 tapi kan di
Tempatnya
kita
di
siang
mana sih
berarti
ini?
mereka subuh anjir.
Tempatnya di mana sih?
He has that
Amrik
TP,
lah.
he can join
Masa di
mid
mana
fights.
lagi?
Okay, Shadow Demon actually, let me stop that. They go for an SD. This is also a very popular support combo for Team Spirit, Shadow Demon and Weaver. They don't necessarily have a lot of proper
Rumania
stuff.
Jonathan.
Can be called.
Apa?
You can
Di Rumania.
Rumania di mana? Banyak yang nyari di Google. Roma.
catch someone, but it's not
Romania.
so that's not what you will be getting from your two supports, but you will be getting
Di
a ton of
Eropa.
ability. Either from the Weaver Aghanims later on, the Vessel into Aghanims build.
Eropa
and the
pasti
damage that
kalau
you
misalkan
do.
plus 7 aja apa beda
Team Spirit performance on heroes
7 jam. Kalau beda 7 jam berarti jam 9
Di sana
ya, itu normal. 9 oke lah. Kalau beda 7 jam kan mulai dari jam 2.
Di sana sekarang jam 7 malam.
Oh. Iya benar ngantuk berarti mereka. Berarti bedanya dikit doang.
Iya beda 3 jam. Berapa jam berarti? 4 jam.
Berarti deket ini.
Cepet ya berarti. Sama Swedia aja masih beda 5 jam. Sekarang tuh.
For the people at home, can you
Nggak tahu di
explain
mana
through
juga.
Shadow Demon's
Kayak Uyo aja kemarin yang cerita beda bisa nambah sejam bisa kurang sejam teh gini.
Oh iya iya.
Apa ya pas winter apa pas summer gitu. Kemarin lupa. Kocak anjing itunya. Tahun apa? Namanya itu. Tahun ya apa?
Even harder for the Luna to bail.
Tahun void
You can't escape anymore. It pierces BKB. You're being attacked by your illusions, and also you cannot run away.
Invoker masih kebuka Invoker.
his entire kit
Power siapa yang jago?
It's a lot about
Gak
how
tahu.
Luna is as a hero, right? She farms a lot. She usually has a lot of stats because she's high level, and Shadow Demon's just using her.
Oh,
ult.
Grimstroke. Pertama kali anjing.
Si itu Spirit si Toronto Tokyo main itu
Seven. Main Seven.
main Invoker juga dia, ada Invoker.
Oh, Toronto Tokyo.
Iya, si Tokyo.
Ini kira si Toro. Wah, melee ini meta kalah berarti.
And if you can get anyone
Satu
else,
sama dah,
TA,
satu sama.
Sven, Ursa,
males.
these heroes combo really well. It's -1
Apapun yang
core
terjadi,
netting,
tidur
1
abis
purge,
ini.
and then 1 carry hitting them. It makes it very simple.
Mending satu samanya teh cepet kayak tadi ya tanya cuma 20 menit.
Iya kalau lab males banget, mending gue udahlah tahu berita besok aja lah. Nggak lihat bracket kalah, ya udah.
Before you pick Sven, you're thinking, okay, what are we missing? We're missing a reliable.
Harusnya ini OG sama Kice mah jauh sih menang OG harusnya.
Every single pick off, every single team fight.
Kice-nya kemarin menang OG menang blunder anjing.
Siapa tahu OG-nya tolol,
When you don't have
Sumel.
any other positions, when they're all filled up, yeah, it's fine.
Info kredit. Ticis lah, Ticis Gaming, weh.
We can kind of run through this.
Kalau ada Ana mungkin ya Ticis carry ya.
Can you run me through like a quick team fight on Team Fnatic side? Like who's gonna initiate? What's
Grimstroke tapi buat apa ya?
It's all about finding that shadow demon. You have outer type
Gak ada yang
vision,
ini.
and you have void spirit to jump the backline. They can't take the straight on engagement the way that a team with Ravage and Demonic Purge can. Oh, this is perfect. You get
NS offlane, voidnya mid, Elder Titan-nya support 4, Grimstroke-nya 5. Weaver-nya 4, TD-nya 3, tinggal hero mid itu, Spirit.
It's a team fight, but it's not like you're running into your opponent.
Sven-nya carry sama si Sven-nya kalau nggak mau Weaver sama Demon.
And keep in mind that Aoi just mentioned that you always want to be jumping the Shadow Demon. I completely agree up to the point at which Weaver gets.
Apa kira-kira nih?
You have multiple issues. You can't
Bisa
really
Asrock.
jump the Shadow Demon because the Weaver will save him, and if you jump the Weaver,
Asrock dikejar Void. Bisa juga nih Void-nya nih. Ya mending mid yang tebel deh.
Mid-nya
Ini kali.
ini di ban itu di awal. Pasti di ban. Bisa Tinker juga. Kemarin juga ada Tinker keluar.
Ini ada Void, Pep.
Hah?
Susah banget. Ada Void Spirit. Dikejar anjir. Salan kan skill 3-nya kalau udah agan. Gak bisa yang ini. Ya seharusnya yang keras ya.
Masih bisa Medusa. Razor kemarin tuh ada ini, duel sama Razor nih.
Razor oke lah,
Ketemu
Razor
Void.
oke.
Kalau nggak Kunka.
Yang nggak mati teuing kalau di Salan loh. Kalau Void.
Iya. Ya paling antara Razor, Medusa, SF masih rada inilah, masih rada.
SF,
OD.
Ayo OD juga boleh.
Belum lihat OD nih dari kemarin. Kunka bener kan.
Oh iya,
Dah kalah
pokoknya yang keras
satu sama.
nggak bisa. Apa?
Dah satu sama.
Enggak. Masih bisa. Ada Kunka ini. Soalnya kalau misalkan itu pun ini musuhnya Salan semua anjing, hero-nya nggak bisa intel yang gimana.
Minimal OD sih kata gua kalau ini.
Disamperin NS, enggak disamperin NS kan. Itu NS bajingan anjing. Kalau buka ulti terus samperin udah aja. Salan sekitarnya.
Tapi kemarin juga Razor enak loh ngelawanin kayak gituan.
Razor harus BKB dulu.
Iya, item awal pasti langsung BKB kemarin juga.
Oke lah, kali ya.
Kita lihat.
Sekarang udah nggak nyeret sih si kapalnya. Masih nyeret enak komboin sama Titan. Bingung sih Demon.
Tapi Kunka mah annoying gara-gara yang Aganim yang stunnya jadi banyak aja itu anjing.
Iya.
Annoying gara-gara itu doang anjir Kunka.
Ini kata Aing sih Demon itunya sampah deh, bakal jadi sampah, nggak bisa apa-apa.
Iyalah. Apalagi kalau udah udah back dagger si NS nya.
Sebelum itu juga ini udah
Abis ini sambil nunggu OG bikin mie dulu. Besok bangunin Aing ya. Bisa Aing bangunnya jam 12 lagi anjing.
Oh.
Maksudnya biar agak pagian jam 11-an gitu ke sana teh.
Jadi bangunnya jam berapa? Jam 10 ya? 11 juga?
Jam 10 aja. Ngumpulin nyawa dulu kan.
Tahu Aing udah nggak pernah ngumpulin nyawa sekarang.
Ngumpulin nyawa teh buka dulu ini anjir, buka chat, buka IG, buka TikTok.
Males sih.
They have chosen correct.
Yang pasti sih buka chat dulu sih.
And silent.
Ini mah late game kayak. Rada lama.
Ini coachnya ya. Ah ya lu nggak lihat.
Ngeliat. Udah masukin game gue soal.
Coachnya kayak masih muda banget anjing. Si TS. Ini Chinese juga.
Network last apa? Beres ini kali ya, Luna kali ya.
Iya. Net. World.
Oh my goodness.
Baraknya menit 30 kali ya. Kali ini mah ya rada lama kayaknya. Ya soalnya high groundnya ada Kunka sih ya, harusnya rada kuat ya. Kalau misalkan si Spiritnya fokus.
And they have picked a very interesting draft. They said EG.
Familiar.
You know the thing about that? EG won that game, I believe.
Oh, there you go. And yeah, Luna, she just keeps on popping up in this lower bracket so far, doing pretty darn well across her games. So we'll see if, like game 1, she can carry the way to victory for the team. Currently, Team Spirit holding a very offensive position here on the Radiant side of the river, hoping someone would wander on over. And now,
dapet anjir si Mira. Nice.
Well played.
So that's 2 games in a row now. 3 bounty runes to start things off here for Team Spirit.
Collapse appreciating what his support there is doing for him, so gives off the little tip there at the end of it. Going to be some interesting things to watch for in this one, absolutely, as we have the Toronto-Tokyo Kunkka coming in the mid lane, facing off against Void Spirit. To me, at least, I have felt like Vision Heroes are the thing that tends to be winning more often than not, particularly in these like really tense, must-win situations, and it just makes it easier. You can see everything around you, set up the great fights, and
kalau ini Fnatic menang, itu aing naik langsung gede anjing ya. Fantasi gue.
At nighttime anyway, when you have a Night Stalker in your lineup, and Luna's just gonna help you.
Gue punya 3 Fnatic silver soal.
That will be the game plan here from
lumayan.
And I have to say that
ternyata belum pot loh ini.
Excellent little counter pick there to the Night Stalker, right? Because you think about how you want to play every
Gak tahu yang predik yang apa namanya kayak yang most pick hero gitu-gitu nggak bisa dibuka.
Iya udah telat tuh.
Sama yang predik bracket. Tapi kemarin ada tulisannya predik yang bracket tuh bisa di ini lagi nyampe tadi siang jam 2.
Enggak bisa. Itu udah kemarin ya.
Not sure exactly. We haven't seen a ton of it. To me at least, the thing that stood out in the qualifiers for TI about Grimstroke was the Aghanim Scepter that you can end up purchasing and how strong that can be.
Bangsat padahal picuanan itu anjing.
A Sven, so not the best. You love those big agi heroes, of course.
Udah lama nggak buka Dota sih gue juga lagi nggak main Dota.
Certainly the Phantom's Embrace, I would imagine the main reason they've gone for it here.
Ooh, the block off. They're
going to
try Jabs nowhere to go. Has to go for that TP out, and well, now they realize, all right.
Gila, mana kepikiran aing ya.
Pasti ngebukin ya.
Iyalah.
Out of that one.
At least body block aja udah, mau dia maju di blok stop doang.
But yeah, the
mana kepikiran di blok sama Illusion anjing.
I would say as well as like the Weaver, something else too, right? Where you can try and kind of get them stuck, right? Something that he can't handle with the Kraken shell. So overlooked, since we've been mostly going towards the Disruptor when it comes to a support hero that really frustrates the Tide. But I think it would be really interesting to try the Inkswell as well with the Night Stalker. Could even potentially see some usefulness with that shard later on.
Oh yeah.
Because you get the Dispel at the end, and I feel like with the way Night Stalker plays, that could be kind of sick.
Yeah, the hard dispel that comes at the end of it. So a lot of items to watch for out of the Grimstroke if he can get to them as the time goes on. But most likely we're going to be seeing the first rotations will be out of that mid lane. Both of these heroes, the Void Spirit and the Kunkka, capable of getting very aggro in the early stages. And you can see so far, 7 denies actually on the Void. Not bad at all as Raven chased down in some trouble.
Malah mati
goblok. First blood just caught him sleeping.
Oh, Tide Hunter hunting carries throughout the entire international so far with the help of his friends.
And going in for round 2, DJ gonna fall. Team Spirit, they lose Mira, but they will take that one.
Snapfire and Weaver, the minus armor bonuses to help out a Tide Hunter and grab these kills, been used throughout this entire tournament. It just looks so good to get the double kill like that.
Toronto Tokyo gonna do this thing we've seen often. An X marks the spot into a TP back home, and that refills the bottle, allows Toronto Tokyo to come back to lane fully resourced up. And Chuan obviously not having that same possibility playing as the Void Spirit.
Yeah, we'll see if we get a little bit more help towards that mid lane, perhaps. See if they want to try and go for a play or a turnaround. Obviously, something that Team Spirit did a very good job of last game.
Oh, and Miposhka. This is the sneaky one. Take a look at this. Can he get all three of them? Trying to stack up the camps for the Sven, and oh, a little bit late. Only managed to get one.
Oh, that's rough.
Gotta go back to lobby.
Yeah, gotta hit the demo lobby between the series and on the main stage, apparently.
It's a tough one. It's incredibly hard to get that as a Shadow Demon when you're doing all of them simultaneously. But nonetheless,
you had to let them know. You know, you had to. We got all excited. We're gonna show everyone. Wow, that's a sick triple stack.
I know. I thought it was gonna happen.
Next time, no cam, he'll get that. I'm sure.
Exactly. It's tough on the main stage.
Oh, nice. I like that sentry on the right-hand side there, too, inside the tree line. Pretty, you know, tricky for Team Spirit to catch it, and then they can try and actually punish Mira in this laning stage.
As rundown, Toro gonna get stunned up, chased down, but the disruption and the back away. Afterwards, passes the salve over. So even though there's some good aggression there, not gonna be able to do substantial damage to that Sven.
Still 3 mangoes as well from Miposhka with all those tangos, so they're going to try and keep Yadoro going as long as they can up here. Meanwhile, Jabs has just been once again going in, blocking off the camps here. He's been stopping the further pulls. Then Miposhka has been trying to stack this up, and now also stopping the small camp from being available. We'll go for some vertical plays here to ensure that there won't be a pull on the other side, but you got to look after your carry here.
I mean, again, this is like not, you know, the damage that's going to go for the kill, but it's so much economic damage because he just has to play that far back in the lane, and now you're in a situation where you can just deny out a bunch of creeps from him.
He's level 5. He's just going to the jungle. And, of course, those big stacks not really all here quite yet, and not what you want to see. So we got to put, oh, mid lane, Toronto Tokyo. Gets the full damage there, unexpected. Caught him after the dissimulate.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those where you normally are comfortable in this Void Spirit matchup because you've always got that dissimulate to get out of harm's way. But Toronto Tokyo with the outplay, able to punish on the mid.
Radiant's middle tower.
Not a good start here for Fnatic to lose that. But of course, the other lane's going well, so, you know, just ins and outs across your lanes here. Meanwhile, this bottom lane here is still pretty chill. Raven just farming up will likely make his own rotation to the jungle relatively soon, but so far so good. 35 last hits, and although you know you are below the Sven of course has been hitting a lot of neutrals, and Sven's also running back to his base, so you'll likely see the Luna start to eclipse him pretty soon in net worth.
Yeah, I mean, these are two of the fastest farming heroes in the game if you're left to just sort of go about your own devices. So we'll see if, you know, in that free space eventually will help him out there on that Luna, but right now pops ulti. Miposhka, he's getting ran at.
Yeah, and they didn't even use the ink spell yet, so yeah, now puts it down. This is just guaranteed death, and the catapult wave is here, so Yadoro forced to come back to lane now.
Yeah, because you can't just give up that tier 1 tower this early on. So Death making that move and forcing the rotation back in after Toro had already retreated to the fountain, but this early pressure being put on by the Night Stalker. He got out of that early laning stage well, and now kind of just free to do whatever he wants.
Yeah, they have to threaten some TPs here from Toronto Tokyo as well, I think, but not coming in quite yet. They would love to try and get a kill onto Death if he dives a little bit too deep here, but it's going to be tough. Having the phase boost this early, very tanky, 1000 HP with plenty of armor. And of course, if he does make a rotation fail on Toronto Tokyo, that's going to slow down his farm by quite a bit. But for now, his farm is the top of the board there.
Yeah, playing on that Kunkka. Obviously, now that he's up to level 8, can get more points in that X marks the spot.
Jabs.
Looks for him. Death backs away. Ooh, gets out of that one as well. That is a 4-stack. Hit that with one more and it might have been a kill, but Jabs wrapped around upon, and as they have the rundown, they'll find themselves the kill. So getting back on the board Spirit looking good again.
Uses the Quelling Blade to grab the courier. Oh, that was nice. He cut through the tree, seeing the angle, and actually got the courier snipe. So find something in response to support time. But great turnaround here in that top lane, using the salve to pump Yadoro back up, and then chase down on the sidelines. Mapochka, again, having an excellent match here. Now Toronto Tokyo wants to make a rotation to the bottom.
Yeah, and this is going to be an easy one as they run in. This does reveal the ward, obviously, but into the quick kill, and Spirit are just everywhere. I mean, this is looking somewhat similar to last game, where they just got a lead and never look back him up. TP out, does he manage to escape? He does! That nerf on the Inkswell.
Yeah.
Oof.
Bit more time to deal with that these days. But that still puts him all the way back in the fountain, and Chuan's made his way up here too, gonna grab that next wave, so they're gonna be flying into this tower, putting on the hurt, and only 15 seconds away from the next ultimate here on the Night Stalker.
Well, this has definitely been a... I mean, I guess at the very least you can see Fnatic are getting more kills. They're making more things happen. All Juan going right now on Ditoro. Can they make anything else happen here?
Oh, they got some plans this game on Fnatic, right?
Yeah.
Going into the top jungle, trying to stalk Yadoro, and then they've got a ward down on that triangle on the bottom side of the map with all those stacks sitting there for Sven. You got to imagine they want to have a big fight there with the next Dark Ascension. Now that they've taken that top tower in the safe lane, they can start hurting them on the side of Team Spirit towards that part of the map and force a good fight.
Yeah, this definitely feels like it's just, you know, a concentrated effort to be that big contention point, to take advantage of that farm from Team Spirit. Raven hanging out down here bottom as both Tier 1 towers have fallen. The danger is Team Spirit, how quickly can they take those stacks? You pop God Strength, you have a Kunkka that heads in, it might be gone before Fnatic can get there.
Yeah, and then of course sometimes you'll see teams maybe just try a little bit too hard to contest, and then you end up losing the fight, but well, they certainly won't be here in time for this one. I mean, they just got the D ward too. Now you got the question marks of what's happening, and why are we sitting 4,300-ish even after the hard camp, and then still these ancient.
Yadoro udah berbuat apa?
And they're just gonna run top. See if they catch some of the D-warding. They catch DJ in the act.
Anjir sakit banget. Dede goblok sakit banget.
Kill into another one soon because that boat on a lower cooldown. Man, Team Spirit are just looking so clean. The fact that you are able to D-ward the triangle, take those ancients, and get a kill, like they're doing everything.
Yeah, they lost that top tower, but they've already taken it through the bottom one as well, so feeling very good with their game plan, I'm sure. And now questions to Fnatic.
Yeah.
Again, very similar to this last game, starting out with fewer kills, getting an early net worth lead handed over to their opponent. What is the response here? What are Fnatic going to rally around in this game?
I mean, it's got to be something, but they're right underneath that ward as that smoke comes out.
Seven juga ini. Plus aja.
Hasn't taken any points yet, though. For the 5 and the 6 on Jazz.
I was waiting for I saw that line.
Seven kan splash juga dia.
Iya. Yang kena Kunkka tadi. Dapat first blood.
It's actually wrapped on here.
Alright, they need the Phantom's Embrace here.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to go down no matter what, as they bring absolutely everybody for the
big kill. Nggak ada damage-nya, awal-awal.
You know, they find themselves the collapse
Akhirnya sih gue red game-nya megang si Luna sih.
Pretty confident there's no rotations coming.
So fine, ya tergantung yang menang.
Iya, nggak tahu yang menang yang mana ini makanya.
Yeah, it's a lot of heroes to kill one, but that might just be the play that you need to sort of get up them around, be like, all right, we got this, like, go forward.
Well, and at the same time, too, you saw Yadoro was also farming the Ancients
Kunkka
another
dapat
round
kill
of it while
3.
Collapse is dying, so, you know, you'd love that to be the support that ends up falling, but doesn't end up happening, and the X marks the spot.
He's Xing to get runes and pink pole.
Got
lots of strats here.
The next level play.
Utannya dihabisin Kunkka dong.
He's gonna farm up both of these
Tadi Sven-nya udah yang di bawah.
Cleaving through there.
Yang di Ancient.
They got the 3 cores that can all farm.
Ancientnya udah stock 3
Dude, look at this guy farm this jungle. Just pull it one way, cleave the other, pull it the other, cleave.
Are you taking notes here? You know,
I want
some Kunkka games later.
I mean, I would definitely not be doing that good. That's for sure. But
Radiant's middle tower.
Well, next item right here for a hero that you tend to look to gain some momentum in a game. It's Death on this Night Stalker. Has the Echo Saber we've seen oh so often in this tournament, and also still has the ulti ready.
Ini juga stock
but it's
3.
Team Spirit making the move onto him.
Oh, and this one's gotta hurt as the boat comes in. The stun is there.
Dia malah ini ya.
Yes, indeed he
X-Mark ulti ya.
the ulti comes out,
Permainan ini.
silence at the same time though.
I see.
Buy Death a little bit of time.
Jadi
But in the
torenya
end,
nanti
Team will
belakangan.
fall. And Raven trying
Ya,
to
torrentnya buat
these
expect
ancients.
ini doang,
DJ
expect
moves into
apa namanya?
position now. Drop the ulti
Kalkulasi
down, not
stun
really gonna do
kalau
all
kabur
that much
doang.
at all. Mira just runs away from them.
Yeah, soulbind onto nothing.
Iya, cari kurir, cari kurir.
He wants courier.
Si Wimber enak banget anjing buat ngekillin kurir.
God, 5,000. They're running circles around Fnatic. Oh no.
Ethan RX 5500 sama GTX tuh skalanya di mana, Tan?
Beda merek.
Beda merek ya?
Don't have the best heroes to
Bagus mana, Tan?
quite yet either. I mean, obviously
Ya dibanding GTX mana dulu?
Some better tools here on this night.
Misal sama 1660.
Soon to be another smoke and go. All right, well, as we say it, it occurs.
This
Who's
one
coming
not
with them?
5.500 mah cukup, kalau mau 6.000 ya 6.000. 6.700, 6.600.
Kepala 6
This is the one hero we don't want. Like, please, anyone else. But he's coming in so close.
And
Taranya
Labs
RTX
just going to walk
3060.
into him right now. The Phantom's embrace for the moment. Inkswell not going to connect onto
Kenapa
anybody. And
emangnya?
smoke broken.
Gak apa-apa, tadi gue lihat itu 3 juta nggak salah anjing.
Emang itu jelek nggak dipakai mining?
Gak dipakai apa?
Nggak dipakai mining. Aslinya malah harganya sejutaan itu sebenarnya. Seri 55 itu seri yang bawahnya lu lagi tuh. Kan ada kan yang zaman kita tuh 570, 560. Ada 550, 550 tuh paling bawah lah.
Oh enggak, 5500 bukan 550.
Ya, iya sama pokoknya intinya itu.
Oh sama.
Ya kurang lebih nggak sama persis maksudnya tingkatannya loh. Kalau lu upgrade ke 5.500 walaupun dia serinya lebih gennya lebih baru nggak worth it lah.
Kalau RTX baru ya, Tan ya?
Nggak semua RTX. RTX-nya cuma ada ini doang, apa kayak tambahan program baru buat kayak lu teh settingan low tapi udah kayak lagi high itu doang. Tetep aja itunya settingannya mah low, cuma dibuat seolah dia tuh high. Jadi kayak game triple A gitu tuh lu mainin di resolusi low tapi gambarnya udah bagus.
Now into a full-on pipe for the team.
Kalau dibandingin kayak 2060 sama 1660 itu kan generasinya sama itu. Nah itu bedanya cuma program itu doang. Speknya mah sama aja. Hemat daya ini jadinya yang GTX.
Dah GG 2-0
Ya, X 2060 sama 1660 super.
They designate a target, they all move in.
Dah 2-0.
Obliterated. Now even cleaning up the tier 1 tower wave.
Gak dapet space farm.
XTPs
Gak dapet
from the
space
mid
farm.
lane.
Lu nanya. GG.
Now into the roach pit, the minus armor here. Weaver and Tide to help out. This one will fall very quickly for Yadara. No real chance at a defense here.
Wow, that is going to be another
DJ.
Midnya mereka ya cukup.
Iya, mid fanatiknya kurang sekarang.
Tapi susah sih emang. Fanatiknya apa sih? TS-nya pinter picknya hero-hero tebel. Hero tebel sama hero kabur. Anjing banget. Krip, mundurin dulu dong. Waduh kenapa jebret di krip lah, lebih sakit tolong.
Iya, damage belakangnya yang lebih sakit ya.
Iya. Baru tadi mundur dulu ke krip dar gitu. Betul mati.
Sisa kotak gitu kan ya.
Oh itu juga inilah jauh belum maganin.
Looking quite incredible here, sort of stealing the
Kayak
show.
blunder doang. Kayak blunder susah. Ada tim kayak gini nih.
17 minutes and Chuan, I mean,
Dan
they
tim
need to
mole
find a
gitu.
little bit of space. They need to get something going for themselves and to assimilate to back away. They're buying some time. Does he get caught by the X? Toronto
But there's no turn here. Like no one's trying to make a counter. Running away with the bug on top.
Dah Fnatic pensiun lah, cari regenerasi lah.
Good stuff for sure. They're not forcing a bad fight versus the
Emang dari
Ages,
dulu
but
coba Fnatic.
definitely bad situations here for Fnatic. They've been searching for 2 games now to find some sort of an answer here versus Team Spirit, but they seem to be trapped in the
Mau banyak
exact same
aja e-sport.
state of Team Spirit, just knowing everything they want to do and being there.
Fnatic pernah menang.
Well, this is,
Kayaknya pernah di yang minor-minor doang.
Fnatic here.
Ya, minor mah usah di ini lah. Kayak CS gituannya juga nggak ada apa-apa. Fnatic lah.
But it is tough. When the enemy Sven
Kayak kalau CS gitu kan Cloud9 masih lebih bagus.
Iya. Sama kayak apa tuh? Navi-nya juga masih rada lumayan ininya. CS-nya.
Iya.
They've used a lot of spells here.
Fnatic cuma nyumbang nama doang.
Maybe Namira.
Brand global ya udah nggak ada.
To try and find these pickoffs, but Weaver
penghargaan.
just able to stay outside of the range of it. They spot him now, but there isn't really a play here.
Still, something there.
Yeah.
For Fnatic, no doubt, right? Like, this is really a sign of life that they're finally getting. Sure, it's not going to add one to your kill count, unfortunately, but it was a death and a claim of the Aegis nonetheless here. So they can get back a little further out on the map, feel somewhat safer. And Team Spirit likely going to start thinking about that next Roche as well as some tier 2. But you know, you can't be quite as bold without the Aegis just heading into enemy territory.
Well, there's something to be said here as well for having these big auras that can change the way that a game works. You know, you've got the natural order, you've got the lunar blessing, you know, big team fight ultis that they've got on the side of Fnatic.
Buat nge-support si Sven-nya kayaknya.
He's gonna get there on DJ, don't worry.
One of these days.
Iya si Sven-nya biar
Regardless, if they can hold high ground, that's the place that they need to play the game.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
The game is hard. As the score has remained constant for a little while now, and we'll have to see where Team Spirit want to go. Do you think that they need to try and make moves, or can they just sort of wait for BKBs?
Nggak cuan ya Ten.
Oh, that's super done.
So what they have, and
cuan
forward they can most certainly go. I like the idea of pressuring the tier 2. I don't want to see them give up anything. I don't want to see any trades. I don't think they have any reason to trade right now. But it looks like Fnatic aren't going to push the envelope up top here. So
Pinter makanya pilih yang tebel.
Easy stuff.
Kalau tadi midnya si Tokyo ini mah yang lembek mah.
Move towards the outpost, and Fnatic just trying to farm for now, trying to find some sort of a tool for death to help them.
Kayak gini jadi gak berani majuin.
It could be the Blink Dagger, as he has that queued up first. It'd be a good way to try and catch that Shadow Demon way in the back, or try and ruin Mira's game. That's probably the play he needs to go for. But of course, there's a real danger of just jumping into a fight as this Night Stalker.
Jauh banget networknya anjir.
It is a Sven.
Time-nya masih lebih kaya daripada midnya ini.
Oh, and look at this. Team Spirit were going for a bait play on the other side of the map, which means they left their Sven all the way alone. BKB gonna be used into the TP out.
Wah, ngeri.
That play though.
Raven, immediate BKB TP out of there.
Gila anjing, udah kayak nge-skutus orang anjing, gak ada mikir. Ulti bangsat.
Although does have Dark Ascension, is there any way out of this? Doesn't look like
diem cenah. Udah pasrah.
Nice little play there.
Dikira lagi TP lagi ya, Ten. Bisa lagi TP lagi ya, Ten.
Kind of felt like it was a little bit of bait. But so confident, I think, with the BKB TP that, I mean, the odds of that getting, you know, dealt with here pretty low.
Right. Did burn through the BKB charge though, which is not insignificant.
Goblok.
Poinnya aja 35 seconds, perhaps an opportunity when the Night Stalker comes back up. They have to be mighty fast.
Toronto
and they're waiting for their own BKB as well.
Wah,
30 seconds away.
Oh, gitu kan sekarang mainnya ini.
Iya, mainannya pun kayak gitu sekarang. Oke.
It's so quick.
Oh no, and now they're looking for more. Finding
Stunnya 2 kali. Udah lah, GG aja. Nice, aing mau tidur. Bagus.
Oh man, as Fnatic will fall down yet again. Now Maposhka,
Nggak bisa apa-apa.
he has to back out of here as well.
Fnatic
struggling to come up with the answers. Is all across the map. They get taken down.
Ya, GG cepetan lah. Nonton OG aja dulu lah. Rame ini main game.
Trying to decipher the puzzle that Team Spirit
Dikira bakal sengit gitu kan ya.
just witnessed in the previous match, but unfortunately it's actually Team Spirit who are adapting, just making things better. Toronto Tokyo leading the charge there. 15,000 hero damage.
That's an impressive performance. 7-0-4. Team Spirit, I mean, again, think about the story of this team. Starting 0-4 out of the group stage and then not dropping a game, it felt like, for the entire rest of it. Now coming in, you know, after dropping down out of the upper bracket and putting on this type of performance against Fnatic, it's incredibly impressive. This young star led by Maposhka.
Yeah, we saw their first 2 wins in the group stage, and I was shocked to learn they were 0-4. They just looked so crisp and clean, so when they turned it on, they're most certainly there. They're taking one off IG in the upper bracket. They don't want to drop any more down here.
Second Scepter done for the Void Spirit.
Kalau
Hoping
Dota udah
to
kalah
find
draft
some
mah
signs of life for Fnatic. Still
nggak bisa
stuck at 3
comeback masih.
kills at 22 minutes in.
Susah nahan
They've got
gamenya juga.
BKB on Luna. Like they need to make something
Ya,
happen.
draftnya
here.
udah kalah. Kalau kayak mau lagi gitu
They
kan
gotta get an in and a really quick out.
Bisa
If they
lah,
can get some
belum
BKBs
belum.
going, burn those things, maybe
Damage
then
masih bisa
they can
mah.
find their play with this silence on
Ini si
Chun.
Void Spirit
Get
mau
in there
nge-damage
with
si
the Aghanim
Tide kayak
Scepter,
gitu kan,
see if you can make
damage
a good fight out of that.
nggak akan ada ras.
Yeah, it's a 19k lead. That is a tough order. I understand that.
Yes.
But we're digging real deep here on the
Ah,
cat.
malah.
And DJ is gonna get caught and stunned.
Ya elah ngasih makan
Has to
banget
lead the
anjing.
way. Somebody has to
COD,
die when
Cok.
you're down this far. You need to play that aggressive style and look for pickoffs. Look for farm where you can.
I can see that he's taken the nether shot, which is good, because now I can take his trusty shovel.
Oh, there you go.
And keep digging a little bit here to try and find a solution for Fnatic.
Keep on digging.
Make space buat Luna, Lunanya juga farmingannya kecil lagi, udah dapat apa?
It's real deep.
Yeah.
Nggak distakin.
Well, they'll try and fill that that hole of net worth back in here. Climb back to level ground.
Lagi pula kata gue mah Grimstroke di turnamen mah kurang anjir.
Kurang
Nggak
terus
coba
dia.
bisa ngelom 2 hero.
Ya terus ini di sini nggak ada yang objektif. Skillnya juga buat apa? Stun 2 biji doang, nggak guna.
Yeah, he's working his way.
Kalau sama Doom gitu-gitu kan masih oke lah ya combo-combonya ya.
Lah sih tetap golden tournament ya.
So that would be quite the pickup for him as
Mau apapun
following
sih.
up that DD.
Cuma
ready
2
for another
orang,
round.
ada
About to
5.
Respawn.
Like this comes back to, I think, again, just like game 1, the forcing of the itemization.
Apa ini buat Aganim buat ngopi si Seven kayaknya biar damage-nya ada yang nge-damage juga. Tahu juga deh.
That's just punishing because they have
Iya
to
sih,
get
tapi dia mau Aganim sih.
on Fnatic. So you
Dia
grab
mau
that
langsung
side,
Aganim biarin.
just the pick, and if you eliminate one more hero, that's gonna grow even
Jadi
further.
yang pos
relative
5
wise to those team
siapa?
fights.
Pos 5-nya Elder.
Smoke.
Kasian banget anjing. Elder juga padahal bisa nge-damage loh.
Iya padahal damage-nya Elder lebih gede.
Wah hilang. Nggak sengaja ketebas aja.
Sisa sepertiga anjing.
Opening.
Gila, nggak sengaja ketebas.
Just be able to find a courier kill. See where it goes. Mystic staff looking for the void zone afterwards.
Nggak kelihatan.
Still we sit as Roche.
Malam.
Oh udah.
Fall soon.
Mati lagi Elder.
TI, DJ
Smoke,
making
smoke,
so many
smoke.
plays in the previous match.
Udah satanik anjing Seven mau diapain udahlah.
On the ET, can he save it here?
There's no chance at all, and now
Wow,
DJ has
udah
to TP out. Do they ravage for it? No, they
Udah
don't
langsung
even need
DJ
to.
aja lah.
Disruption is on the
Ya nggak
board.
sih?
And
Nggak mungkin menang anjing. Beda 23.000 cuy. Buyback kena. Udah masih itunya nggak ada lagi si Void Spiritnya goblok banget tuh.
Oh Void Spiritnya gue cuma bisa narik-narik doang lah.
Again,
bersihin
Team
creep doang
Spirit
ultinya.
sensing the potential moment here to knock Fnatic out of the tournament. They want to walk forward and
NS juga
take
nggak bisa
these
apa-apa.
racks. Roche has spawned.
That's
Iya,
right.
nggak bisa
There's
zone
no real
ini.
reason to be here. They have BKB in sight though, so I think he feels pretty safe. And now back
Lah
towards
nggak di langsung N sih
dot
udah
some I's,
lah.
cross some T's, and head to the Roche pit soon enough,
Anjing,
I'm sure.
enak
Yeah,
banget.
they're playing this one safe. Team Spirit.
Wah, SOV dong.
But they're playing like veterans.
Jabs just sold the circlet. He wants it. One more goal.
Oh, baru
and
agak
there
ini,
it
agak
is,
nih.
the Aghanim Scepter. So they're gonna get one
Kita
more hero
lihat
in
ya
the fight, so
apakah
they can
ada
outnumber
comeback.
their opponents now. That counts for something.
Dark Portrait,
release
incredibly
from
strong.
Illusion.
Damage is amplified. You've also got a long duration on it, and it's BKB'd. But the question is there enough farm on the Heroes of Spirit to actually be able to make it matter? Sven is very large and in charge, but it still could be a tough one. We'll have to wait and see as Fnatic smoke out, feeling like what could be a last hurrah, a last team fight at TI,
like
unless
this.
things go perfect.
Taking the fight out
Yang
here.
komentatornya juga udah bilang last fight cenah.
Well, they're not there on the Radiant, so a fight in your base doesn't help you at all.
They spot Toronto Tokyo. Sven up front and center.
Nah, gini dong, baru di zoning
Trying to take
anjing.
out that Shadow Demon right at the start. He doesn't have buyback. This is the fight that they're maybe looking for, but there's the stun now. On to Death, tries to back away, kiting this one out, and is able to get a little bit of separation.
With the Essence Ring?
On the other side,
Bayangannya.
but they've got the illusion sent out, trying to do
Udah
damage,
tapi
but it's
selesai.
just not enough. It's the Toronto Tokyo illusion, and they just don't have it. Oh my God, the turnover. Toro
Nice trailer, nice trailer.
kills off DJ.
At least tadi rapi dikit lah.
25,000
Ini emang udah
gold
kalah
leaders.
aja
They're gonna
tuh.
head into Roche. It was looking good for a moment, but only a moment. So they took down that Shadow Demon.
Yeah, now to the easy play of the pit here.
And
Assured
they
lying in
GG
wait,
aja
the
lah.
Aegis there too.
Berharap dari apa anjir?
And the hopes of their opponents in
Harapannya
the
cuma di
lower
Luna
bracket
doang
at TI
anjing,
and
udah.
send them to
Gak ada
an
yang
early
lain.
exit.
Apa Lunanya
It is
udah.
so tough playing in these games and trying to face off against these teams. Obviously, an entire year and longer building up to it.
Tuh head-to-headnya
And
jauh
where we go
banget.
with this share? Looks like Collapse just doesn't want it. Picked it up and said, no, please.
Harapannya udah cuma di Luna doang udah. Yang lainnya udah nggak ada guna.
Right now, that
Nggak bisa
Toronto Tokyo's
ngelawat.
had such a fabulous tournament, and also just has a fabulous name. You gotta love it. As they walk in, ooh, looking for jabs, and they got him caught right by the secret shop. Not even gonna need to use God Strength or anything like it.
I like how he got the instant value out of
Aduh,
the
Luna
shot.
juga baru jadi gitu anjing,
Just jumps
ngapain
right
tuh?
onto the grim.
Gak mantap, gak apa.
Perfect play. Consistently around the map now is Maposhka scouting out and does find Raven.
Udah
Jumps
mati.
in,
Udah mati, bye-bye.
Maposhka turns forward. Raven, where are you left to go? As Toro, well, actually gets the kill, and now maybe gonna get out one more hit is enough. They take down Raven.
Dibuka loh gutsnya anjing.
Giving up his life for the carry kill.
Alright, but what's kind of sick there is that that kill actually gave him buyback. So
Di AI kayak gini mah anjir mau apapun sendirian ulti mah gas aja.
And Truan just trying to delay this game even further, playing in the tree line up top.
Or dari tadi Knight juga sendirian buka aja.
Tokyo, but has returned again, and Toronto Tokyo, of course, well aware of this. Hunting to see.
Bawa itemnya sakit juga anjing Gunka. Bawa enchanted quiver anjing.
It's so dangerous when he's got this hex, but you can see like how confident they are.
Ngaruh ya?
Each of these lanes. They've got a
Ngaruh
creep up and
pas
they're ready
damage
to go put the finishing touches on what's been a pretty much immaculate game from Team Spirit. This team looks terrifying in the lower bracket.
Yeah, whenever you're getting to the old 1,000 golds per minute lead, that's a problem.
Yeah. No, it's feeling like an insurmountable lead at this point, but obviously if there's any chance at all, if there's any hope of coming back, Fnatic gonna have to take it, do their absolute best in this one to stay in this game. But right now, up now, almost 10k gold ahead of the Luna, getting close to it on the spend.
Cuma nggak usah dia namain enchanted quiver
Game is hard. The Bloodthorn
namain
is
buat
done.
apa enchanted gossip aja atau
On the
apa
outside of the base.
enchanted blade gitu
Right?
Yeah, it's a pretty nice game to be a spend. He's gonna be doubling up on that Luna pretty soon.
Iya anjing ya Toronya aja bikin itu dong.
I think it's just again one of those moments where you recognize the strength of this young team.
Udah full item anjing gimana cara
You
ngebunuhnya.
love to see it. And now coming out and performing on the biggest stage against some veterans.
Gaya.
They're gonna try it once more here for a bit of a sneaky play.
Ntar gue muter, siap ya. Siap ya gue degerin nih, ntar lagi nih.
Just trying to push back wave. If they want to find a jump, there's a smoke on the tide. They miss with the scan. Now they're moving to the low ground near the front.
Dibuka aja.
They know.
Kan Anda bisa terbang. Vision lebih besar, goblok.
Have to be super careful here, but they can't afford to give up without anything from the start ascension. And Fnatic, they see the heroes and they can't do anything.
What Mapostra's doing, right?
So
Plays
sick.
so well these games, but just throwing out that shadow poison makes it so difficult for him to commit without popping his BKB right now.
And look at this, Team Spirit again, they recognize that side of the map is where Fnatic is, so we're gonna head up top, take down this tier 3 tower, and you're gonna have to come and deal with us. Tokyo, the one that's leading the way, sieging the map. And they take the tier 3 tower and gonna retreat out, taking this slowly, carefully.
Yeah, and Raven, of course,
Lunanya nggak ada set sih kan.
it's the only one they got. They gotta watch the timing on it. If he pops at the wrong time.
Oh, the jump in. Toro trying to run down Raven, but he's slowed. Maybe an opportunity there. Raven able to get the BKB in the walkaway, but this opens up
Habis
Team
sudah.
Spirit to try and pressure the
Goblok.
rocks. They get the
Bayangannya nggak guna banget.
and be able to do some damage potentially in that next fight. But jump in, Ravage comes out from Collapse on absolutely everybody. There are no BKBs salvage as Chuan gonna get control of the moment. You'll scepter lift up. Now looking for a bit more. Raven turns. Gonna get the Eclipse out. That's a good amount. But is it gonna be enough with Collapse the only one dead and no longer
Dalam berharap apa sih, tinggal GG doang, ngetik GG pulang udah.
on the Void Spirit. The gold lead continues to
Terus balik Corona lah.
It's a Tide player who knows the
Tinggal
BKBs. Are
balik.
down. He just wants the big number. He's trying to pump up his gem numbers right now.
There you
The
go.
massive the team takes the buildings. Perhaps could have gone for a more hero-focused thing there, but you know, kill throne, win games. So this is another step towards that, with the racks going down and Jabs trying to fight versus the voice lines.
Doing whatever he possibly
Terus
can at this point.
I feel a little hollow to me, game. I'm not gonna lie.
It's tough. It's just so difficult at this stage in the game when you're down this much net worth, and you know the heroes that they've got.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Raven's got the crafty stuff coming out here now, right? We got the Shadow Blade. This gives you plates with your Silver Edge to finish that Chrysalis.
Invisibility, invincibility, but also that break and extra damage.
Also that ward spawning all that as well there from Team
That
Spirit.
hurts.
Yeah,
That one hurts.
That's pretty good. Saw the courier delivering that, so they'll be well aware. I also know that Maposhka was eyeing up a gem earlier. That's probably already out on someone. It is indeed. It's on Mira.
So again, they have some of the items that they need on Fnatic, but it still feels like each hero could get 2 more and it still might not be enough.
Yeah, Mira even just hands the gem over to Toronto Tokyo. It's like, you know what, you're probably not gonna die.
Yeah.
I would think, with 3,000 HP versus these heroes.
With the BKB, it's not a bad choice. But can see Jabs again, hoping to motivate his team.
He's got to focus on that end part there. The slay together, slay together, slay together.
That's
or
the
the win. The
yes.
win one at the start would also be good. But this is a stepping, stone program here. And right now you're on slay first.
That's right.
The win is very far away right now.
If they can make it happen, that's the end goal there. But holding on to their high ground is the main thing. Smoke out.
Kelihatan smoke tadi.
Toronto Tokyo.
Oh,
Oh my god, dude, Toronto Tokyo is too good.
kelihatan
BKB immediately afterwards does not care even a little bit. Not even 1 iota. As he's gonna throw out the boat afterwards. Walks into the midst of everybody. Raven pops that BKB, trying to get a pump. Holds on to the Ravage. They turn onto 1. Shadow Demon dead, but 2 on the bigger one that goes down the Ravage.
Udah rempek.
No buyback, no opportunity. And Team Spirit still looking dominant.
Anjing,
In this
sedekah
best of 3
ngasih rempek
elimination
lah.
match, they want to move on. And Death, the only one left
Mau
alive
sedekah dia.
through all of
Kejar
that.
dong. Ah, nggak mau.
A
Nafsu
pretty
dia.
emphatic ultra kill there, but Fnatic, they've decided to
Ya,
go
tinggal
right to
ketik
the end.
gigi susah banget FP musuh ini.
Iya anjing.
So they're gonna head
Tombol
down.
surrender
Udah kalah
lagi
40.000 loh.
Raven dead. I mean, he's what?
Udah networknya 40.000 berharap apa? Item jauh banget Satani, Flotor, ngapain?
They're gonna right-click down this tower. And without either of their mid or safe lane heroes,
Harus dikasih tuh tombol surrender tan.
still gonna give them the respect.
Ini kan
that
gigi
this
udah
team
surrender
deserves.
itu anjir.
Well, they will walk forward again and try and hit it now. Oh, dodges away from the stomp. They're gonna send in the illusion.
Bayangan nggak pakai gastreng mah getek anjing, mau ngapain?
The wave afterwards. The Dark Portrait doing
Ini
what
nggak
it
dapat
can.
skill 3-nya lagi.
And you gotta deal with the heroes. And they are knocking on your tier 4 towers. Mega creeps.
Gagal.
Team Spirit. Now with the X marks the
Ininya
spot
kayaknya
and the turn.
berteori
beat
deh.
down. Buildings falling.
Ngide.
Not a whole heck of a lot
Iya,
left in the
gua
tank.
ambil
They have
nih,
maybe
bisa
one
deh,
last
pikir sakit
hurrah from
banget.
Fnatic when they have the Void Spirit up again.
Who's got the
Gagal
smoke here?
sering
Mira's
banget.
calling for it. I see him.
Mending kalau kayak
Apa
Feng.
nih? Apa nih?
They
Paustina.
have a little bit of a pause
DC.
now as Jabs.
Ya udah tinggal GG anjing, apa susahnya?
There's a little bit of few issues.
That is
Ya, Tan.
true, but yeah, Mira was actually
Kalau
there.
Fengnya masih mending ya Tan ya daripada Grimstroke.
They're going
Gue sih masih mending Feng ya sih kalau sekarang.
Man, the crowd
Iyalah.
getting into it right
Kecuali lu kalau mau combo-combo yang
BKB.
ya kalau enggak kalau emang lu ada punya combo yang double kayak sama Doom sama apa nih baru kepake Grimstroke, kalau enggak mah enggak kepake anjir.
The Void Spirit is having
Buat
some
turnamen mah enggak
issues
sih. Iya.
in this game.
Ya ada aja maksudnya kalau misalkan kombonya sama yang begitu mah di sini nggak ada apa sekali kan masalahnya. Nggak guna juga.
That would be very
Ada
impressive
Luna.
if I could
Skillshot.
spot you.
Double stun doang
We're a
anjing.
little too far away from the booths.
Oh, ada
Sama.
juga.
Minutes
Skill
in,
satunya NS.
3,000 gold lead. I mean, what
Ah
was,
iya
you know,
iya, tapi kan nggak guna anjing, nggak efek banget kan
on
kalau sama
paper
Doom
felt
kan
like
gitu.
maybe an even series has just
Masih
been an
double
absolute
Doom
spanking
terus sama
through 2
dulu
games
apa ya biasanya
by
ya?
Team Spirit. And now you're
sama BS kayak kan double rupture apa kayak kan ya gitu-gitu kan masih baru kepake kalau enggak kepake
I mean, I'm not sure what the limit is for them. I'm not sure how far they can go. Feels like upper bracket was the place for them.
They seem to be growing stronger and stronger, and of course, I mean, udah kalah. Berharap apa ya pro player gini ya? Hebat sekali loh.
They have definitely struggled here this event
Harapan
to beat teams of what we consider higher pedigree, essentially beating the teams that you'd expect in their group.
Weavernya aja udah agak anim loh, tinggal bisa balikin si itunya.
Iya, Weavernya aja sama NS-nya aja masih menang Weaver. Nggak usah deh Tan, supportnya aja deh Tan, supportnya aja masih di atas 2 support anjing. Si Demonnya.
And you know, I think that we often talk about sort of the power that happens through the group stage, and you know, teams being able to get a lot of experience in that, but also the experience on the main stage. I think that, you know, you don't know just how hard this game can sometimes be when you've got hundreds of thousands of people watching you at home. Thank you, Neil, for joining us on the cast here.
What else is actually very interesting about this TI, and particularly for this team, is that, of course, with the way the DPC leagues worked and everything, those games were pretty infrequent, right? You're playing like once a week. And then our lands, you know, some teams, of course, don't even play group stages
Elder Titan-nya
too, and so you have this issue where
market ini semua dan apa namanya Rapier anjing.
So if they can sort of harness
di listnya Rapier 4 biji anjing.
Salah sih, salah pos ya. Dengan Elder Titan ini yang bisa gebuk.
Iya, mending Elder Titan 4.
Ngapain DC di pause aja loh, mati dulu. Wah, 2 kali hit goblok. DN aja akhirnya aja penderitaan mereka aja ngapain kan.
One by one, death will die, and more to follow as Team Spirit is going to close this one out and end the dreams of Fnatic. They get the good luck going next from Fnatic. And congratulations, Team Spirit moving on to TI-10.
Yes, balik lah, balik.
Again, coming in from Aposhka
tuh buat ngicipin komputer ini aja, komputer TI.
Padahal mah sama aja anjing.
Pulang udah.
Yang penting mah mejeng cenah.
Pernah megang ini, pernah megang Aegis.
Iya.
Walaupun coba syuting video.
Kita juga gitu bisa masuk TI mah. Wah, gaya aja dulu. Menang kalahnya ya gimana nanti. Kalau nggak MPL deh, misalkan MDL. Oh, masuk MDL nih.
MDL mah sampah sih, nggak bangga sih.
Maksudnya masuk ke scene yang gedenya lah. Wah, anjing masuk ke scene gede. Menang kalahnya mah bodo amat anjing.
Gets kills. Pre-15-minute BKB, he wasn't messing around, wasn't trying to be greedy with it, and then
Aing mau masak dulu.
Like, he played for his team, he killed everyone else, and I don't know, that was for sure. There's so much Dota, but the best game I've seen from Toronto Tokyo so far at TI. Maybe I'm just overselling it, but it feels like it was very smooth.
I'd say for sure in the bracket stage. Like, sure, he was shaky yesterday, and he was the person I was looking at to perform today, and he certainly did so. Like, I saw a lot of people chiming in on Twitter that this felt like a pretty solid outdraft for Fnatic. Felt like Silent may have even agreed with them, but they're just outclassed here. Like, Spirit straight up just dominated this game. We didn't quite get to the 3-2-2, but we got close.
And in some ways, the Kunkka was the perfect pick because it's like an anti-run at you hero. It's like they have all these super mobility heroes like Night Stalker, even like Elder Titan, and even Grimstroke. They can't really defend themselves very well as long as he stays at like a good range. So the fact that he got off to a good start, gets extra levels, gets his X marks at a high level so he can actually catch people from far, it like snowballs his hero in a big way that makes it even more powerful. So it was just expertly done.
Yeah, we heard a commentator say it as well, that this Death Night Stalker, it could be a key component for them to have their say in the game, but this Night Stalker didn't really have a game, Kyle.
Well, that's the BKB on Kunkka, right? It's just such a great pick against the hero. I think also just really heads up plays by the Spirit supports. Like, if you disrupt the Luna, the Grimstroke theoretically can make a portrait out of the illusion. So he's just not casting disruption on Luna. And if you portrait a Sven, well, you don't get God Strength, so that's pretty underwhelming. He's kind of just grabbing Kunkka for the aura at that point. And it's not really why you're drafting this hero, I don't feel.
No, definitely a rough loss for Fnatic. The roster wasn't as this 5 together for that long, so maybe there's some silver lining there for the potential that this team has in the future, but losing is part of the competition, and Avo is standing by to highlight that together with Jabs.
Thank you, Shiva. Fnatic was a team that had the most recent roster changes, and yet they still made it through the close qualifiers, through the group stages, and the best of ones of death. I'm here with her for Jabs. Jabs, all I want to hear, and I think the people want to hear too, is what's going on through your mind right now?
Just sad that we couldn't play Motherboard. Like, we know them ourselves, like we could have like done so much better, and like, yeah, it just happened.
What did it feel like playing on the TI stage again?
Probably like a bit of intense, and people like we misunderstand something, and like we cannot do anything. Yeah, because like we're in the loser bracket, and yeah, it just happened.
You know, there's a lot of people that are proud of what you've been able to accomplish this TI. Oh, is there anything you'd like to say to them?
I mean, I felt like we could have like do so much better in the group stage, and like if we play like more discipline, and like yeah, we just could have done so much better. But I'm still proud of my team, and like they all try as much as they can, and like they did everything what they could, and just happened. So like just thank you whoever like cheering for us and like rooting for us. Yeah.
Well, as you heard it, this might be a difficult obstacle for Fnatic. We still have a wonderful team that we can keep rooting for. Back to you, Shiva.
Thank you very much, Avo and Jabs. Indeed, we are still able to root for Fnatic. I think that this TI is showing that consistency creates better beasts. That's the case in Team Spirit. They've been together for a long time. They grew throughout the DPC season, and maybe Fnatic just needed more time to grow, Kevin.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, I had a lot of hope for them coming into the tournament, even though they did have recent roster swaps, just because they are all such good players, and they've all had very good runs at various points.
Sorry, it happened again. Kevin, I can't keep a straight face with that. But we do have also the upside. It is Jake who is standing by with Silent, the coach.
Thank you very much, Shiva. Please don't use my real name, okay? That's very hidden. I'm here with Silent. Silent, you told me you respected their draft before you went in, yet you trashed them. What happened?
We just played better than them, but I like the draft. Fnatic is a good team.
Yeah, a lot of respect there, I can tell. By the way, you are kind of an international pro. You've been many times. Your team's a little new. Did you have to beat anything out of them? Break any bad habits to get them into this shape?
I don't know. I think this time, this game, Fnatic just didn't play how we can. Like, we was scary to lose, to eliminate. We could do better, I believe.
I see.
But lucky for us.
Yeah, I mean, they did very well. Next one for you. You had a 100% win rate probability in that last game. Did it feel like it was 100%? I've never seen that before.
Oh, actually, I seen that. Our third game against IG, it was the same. And it was feeling like 100% both times.
Well, good to hear. You seem to be at 100%, so that's great. I'd like to play a little game with you. I want the people at home to get to know your players a little more. So I'm going to say a player's name, and if you could say one word to describe them, all right? We only have time for one. Collapse.
Patience.
Patience. Oh, that's strange. I wrote Giga Chad. Okay, well, you know what? Unfortunately, we are out of time, and I'm sure you have a team that you would love to talk to. So once again, congratulations. Great job surviving.
All right, thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. And we'll see more from Team Spirit coming up soon. But for now, we've got some more Dota.
Thank you very much, Silent and Sir Action Slacks. Indeed, can't wait to see more of Team Spirit. They're going to have to wait for their opponents, though, because this lower bracket is going to be a gruesome run if you want to make it all the way. Their lower bracket, they're going to go up against either Quincy Crew or OG. That's going to be also our next matchup. So the winner of that gets to go up against Team Spirit in the next round of the lower bracket. Eliminations is part of the game. It is what makes us feel very happy, working towards that grand finals, working towards that world champion. We only need one champion. We're gonna wait a little bit longer for that though. We got a couple more Dota games to get in. Love to continue on with the lower bracket, but also speaking of competitions, there's of course the film competition going on at the moment as well. And here's the closing of it.
All right, guys, the time has come for our final finalists in the short film contest. We have some last movies to show you. Effie, you ready?
I am so ready and so excited.
All right, well, let's get to it. Blood and Fire. That is a HD look at some of your favorite heroes fighting it out in a badass battlefield.
Next up, follow Bristleback on a visit to our favorite doctor.
Oh, yeah.
The vaccinating.
That's it. And finally, would you like to know how to become a anti-mage godlike player? Well, you can. An anti-mage godlike pub guide. Let's take a look.
I just took a quick trip to the bog. Oh, excuse me.
Meepo! Meepo! Meepo!
Ready for your dose? Wait for it.
I'm not ready.
Wait for it.
No!
Prevention. Pizza cure.
Sockets.
And finally, the time has come to crown a winner of this year's short film